Yay!
We're back in the club.
We're back in the club. Welcome back to TWG Fan Club, our weekly wrestling fan club, which hasn't been weekly lately, but we are back. Hi, Matt.
My brother.
Hey, Eddie. Hey, Jermaine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we, all got super booked and busy. So we didn't stream for a few weeks, but we are back. And we usually have a topic for fan club, but we are kind of just going to catch up on everything that's been going on in the world of wrestling because it is a hot and busy time right now. We'll get into Bad Blood, NXT on the CW, the Rock coming back, Sexyy Red. There's a lot that we have to catch up on. And hey, Rakarsha's in the building, so we will officially get started. But first, if you are not already following those wrestling girls everywhere and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button right this second. Yes, appreciate you guys. So first of all, I'm Queen P.R. You guys know who I am. Y'all know this face. Y'all be with me on Monday nights. Shout out to Krista B, who is on vacation.
Yay.
So we are sending her all the best vibes. But how is my crew doing?
Well, it's been a day. Not so bad, but it's just been like super busy. Like it was calm. I even recorded a breaking through glass ceilings, but it felt like after that, they was like
I saw that was a good breaking through Brian H.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's some of the stuff you talked about?
The podcast tour by our VP. She did the Call Her Daddy pod, the All the Smoke pod, the Howard Stern show. And they were great conversations. So talked about that, Cardi B and Offset and Stephon Diggs. And of course, the New York Liberty going to the NBA Finals.
Oh my God! Oh my God. I was just talking about this with Letty.
We smoking on the Aces pack still.
Hey,
this for you, Aja. This for you, Kelsey. This
Chill,
for you, Chelsea.
Girls. So okay,
we gotta win the title first.
Becky Hammond go cry somewhere.
See, that was what made it hard because I also am a huge Aces fan. And I wanted my Liberty to win no matter what. But then once they were booted out of the playoffs, I was like, oh, I would have rather that been the finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
ooh, I'm glad it's not that. That's like to go through that a second time of like last year was stressful as fuck to have it go through it again. And then on top of that, respect to the Aces. They got a squad. They got a hell of a coach. I did not realize the amount of shit talking they were doing after they won that title and all season. Basically, like, oh, we ain't gonna let this go that you won this fucking title, that we won this title on your court. Like, it was an abundance of shit talking. So it was like, I love my women. I never say anything foul. But I was like, beat these bitches. Like, we need to beat these bitches if we want this fucking title. Enough of this shit.
The coach was hella cocky and arrogant at the press conference though last year. And I'm a new Liberty fans this season. So I knew like that the Aces won and I know a lot of the personalities on social media, but this was the first time I was like in the season with them from start to finish where I was just so invested. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like,
yeah.
But I heard Minnesota's also a good team. That's it,
yeah,
right?
that's not gonna be a sweep. Their team is legit. They've been poured it on the second half of the year, and they're the one team that like really matches up with us this year. We had the edge on the Aces this year, but Minnesota matches up well. That's like I can see this going 5, which is not good for my liver because Yankees and Liberty at the same time. God damn. Again, sports guys. Like I didn't go through this with the Knicks and Rangers during the spring. Now it's like, nah, double dells. Here you go.
Hey, it's nothing wrong with going through because you could be a random city like Cleveland, whose basketball. Well, no, they was in the playoffs. Indianapolis, whose
Brian,
teams was there. So
for those who are not familiar with the Liberty, this is now our 6th trip to the finals. You know how many finals we've won? 0.
That's why this is going to be beautiful, though, because
so we have been down this road of we've gotten there, we've gotten close to the promised land, and then shit happens.
But Sabrina and Stewie looking
they
good,
have
and
to pull it out. But
we all know the
if
secret
I'm
weapon.
wrong, but the Liberty went to the finals the most times and haven't won, right?
Yep.
Damn.
This is our 6th appearance, which is the most.
This is the year for us.
You talk about losing and then beating the team that you lost to. I remember in the mid 20s, I think it was 2017 or 2016 when that happened with the Lynx and the Sparks, when Candace Parker lost to Maya Moore, and then that redemption in the finals is so sweet. So, the second round obviously was sweet, but it's gonna be sweet, next week around this time we're gonna be celebrating a championship.
I'm so here for
From
that.
your lips to God's ears. I'm nervous. All the superstitions is like, come on, just 1 week.
I'm with you, bro.
I've been going through this since '97 with Witherspoon, Rebecca Lobo, Becky Hammond, and watching the comments just be like, nope, not this year, not that year, or not the next year. Like
they was the real, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 championships in a row.
Yeah.
Wow,
that was rough.
Yes. So go Liberty! Everybody, put that energy in the air.
That's right. Put a Statue of Liberty emoji or elephant emoji for Ellie.
Yes, who has been booked and busy. My girl was performing with Justin Timberlake. She was in Good Morning America this morning. She was at the Glamour Women of the Year Awards last night. Like, she is out here. Like, she has more endorsements than like the players this season. Like, that is so interesting to me. But that's been sports right now has been really, really exciting. Go Yankees, football season, all that.
Ravens, LJ, Lamar Jackson in the flesh.
Even the Mets, man. Shout out to Queens, because the Mets are banging with the Phillies right now on the other side of the playoff bracket.
They absolutely are.
Yo, first y'all, the Knicks did that to the Sixers, and now the Mets to the Phillies.
I hope they do, just to be like, Philly, we own you. We want the title. Where's Booker T?
I read a tweet or something where somebody was like, yo, Philly about to get sunned. And I'm like, damn, like, what did Philly do?
Where do we start? What did Philly do?
Oh, yes. Congratulations, Matt. I'm sorry.
They gave us that cold WrestleMania. That's what they did.
Oh, yeah, we were freaking. Also, we want to just send I know a few people that live in Florida who
send all the prayers and love. They're getting slammed.
They are, and we just hope everyone is safe. Yes, Philly got too many, they'll be fine. Yeah, that's true. All right, so since it's been a while since we caught up, and we're gonna kind of talk about a little bit of everything that's going on right now. What is exciting you guys recently that you just are on social media talking about it? What is the biggest thing?
It's cooking. It's The Rock. It's Roman.
The Rock
it's the
and
bloodline. It's everything. Jimmy Uso being back, because I don't want to discredit him either. Just Jimmy coming back doing Jimmy Uso things.
Hey, Letty.
Just been amazing. And then, it was like, I'm just to be a mark real quick. It looked like nobody knew The Rock was going to be there. And he was just being such, he The Rock. He do what he want to do. Just step right in. What you going to say to him? And I loved every bit of it. I'm excited. And it's like, Cody, what you gonna do, buddy? And whose side is he on? That's the best part. I'm ready to sit back and just let it cook and let it marinate.
I did find it funny that The Rock brings that belt everywhere with him.
Hey, that is not a stupid belt. That came from the Ali family and the history with Muhammad Ali. So he's gonna rock that wherever he goes.
Nah,
mind you.
Shout out to Math, because I'm scrolling Twitter as this is unfolding, and in typical Math fashion, it really said just word for word that N got his belt.
I saw that. And you have to wonder, like, is he gonna? All right, okay, that's your shit. You're gonna really, literally bring that to every appearance. Okay.
It's like he's like a wrestling fan who brings his own belt to the show.
No, that's 100% what he. That is 100% what he looks like.
Oh my gosh!
Exactly, Jermaine. This is my energy. Congratulations! Now put it in your office. Yes.
He made pro wrestling cool again. He made him carry belts to shows.
Did he?
It's The Rock.
No, Vaughn brings his belt everywhere.
That is true.
Vaughn,
now
Corey.
We can't say nothing.
There's another one.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Respect, man.
Will The Rock ever not be cool?
No.
I mean, some people like Jay-Z will always be cool, right? Will The Rock ever not be cool?
I don't think.
I mean, Jay-Z is cool, but if you go follow social media, there's a contingent that tries to rewrite Jay-Z's history like every other day, which is like
we don't pay attention to those clowns.
Yeah, it's like we're really doing this. Like y'all are bored. Go to school, do some homework. What are you doing?
Right, exactly. I think Jay-Z is way cooler than The Rock. Just saying.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they're equal, but in different spectrums.
They're two different spectrums, but I respect what you say.
You're not trying to tell me.
I'm not saying.
Okay, let me stop.
No, I'm listening. This is interesting. I like
this. No, this has been a month of brewing. Get on that soapbox and let it out.
I'm curious that if anyone would think that the Rock is more cool than Jay-Z.
Oh. I was looking to compare.
I mean, where's Jay-Z's belt? Where your belt, Jay-Z?
I'm genuinely asking. Like,
take it to the streets.
The Rock is like the biggest star in the world, so it's like, do people actually believe that in their hearts? Like, that he's cooler.
Oh man,
your pops really just called you out and said my daughter is crazy.
Because he knows how much I love Jay-Z, and I'm just so confused. About that, but there is nobody cooler in wrestling than The Rock for sure, and he could literally bring that belt anywhere, and it's gonna be with his Versace. I mean, anything. I mean, you wear Versace, I guess you could wear whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how Vaughn is just repeating what we're all saying. Oh my god!
He's our home stenographer. That's what that is.
Yo,
like Jay, The Rock is cooler than Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is Beyonce's husband.
I guess Seindole did the stenographer hands too, because all you see is them like.
All you see is the.
They say he looks like Joe Camel still,
and they'd be like, "Can we get a read back?" Patricia R, Queen P.R. The Rock is cooler than Jay-Z. Wait, hold on. Scratch that typo. Jay-Z is cooler than The Rock. ... Brian H. Waters. I mean ... That literally.
Yo. All right. I have a
the living receipts. That's what that is.
And you know we need those. We need those because we got people just on TV shows just talking shit. So, all right, rapid fire, real quick. Do we want to see another world championship run from The Rock? Go, Justin.
Sure.
Okay. Brian H. Waters?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, but short.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jermaine said hell no.
Your pop said yes.
One more reign for Dwayne. Let's do it.
You know,
treat it like a new job. Doesn't have to be past 90 days.
No. No.
Oh, part-time champions can be a bit annoying when you are watching every week, you know.
I mean, I just think I'm so in and out of the in and out phase. Like, if you can't give me at least 12 months of build up, like you're part time. Like at this point, yeah, that's just how I feel. If you can't give me a full year, or at least bleed out on the mat, like Homeboy did with Drew McIntyre, give me that, you know. But he gets a pass because like he satisfied a lot of Cody haters, so he gets a pass. But yeah, I don't think so.
Not to mention, he's kind of did that. Like, remember, he came back after Rumble. He was around a lot for that Mania build. You have the 2 nights at Mania. You have the Raw after Mania where he basically makes his intentions clear of like, Cody, at some point I'm coming for this title. He comes back now. Maybe you get like a handful of appearances leading up to Rumble. You're definitely gonna get him at Survivor Series, and then you're going to have a WrestleMania match at some point. So technically, from Mania to Mania, he's been around like at least a dozen times minimum. And then if you slap that title on him, it actually makes sense given where the story has been, where he's been intertwined on and off with Cody, and then we still don't know where him and Roman stand on this thing. It's not like when Goldberg yanked the title off of a hot Kevin Owens, just so he can go to WrestleMania and be like, look, son, I'm the champion. Look at me.
Right. That's how I see it.
Like, this actually makes sense.
They give me work. Like, they give me work. Like, the other people that come back part-time, I'm sorry, they don't be given work. They give people that come in to collect the check, and then they go and they put their feet up. Like, they don't give me, like, I got 2 jobs, so I got rent to pay, like, it's due tomorrow. Like, they don't, when they come in part-time, they don't give me that. Other part-timers do. So that's why I'm just like, he could be useful in so many other areas. Like this storyline, like even if he keeps that belt on him and he's just like, listen, you were the tribal chief, you the tribal chief, bitch, I'm the real tribal chief, okay? Because that's what my grandfather's name says on that family tree. So I'm gonna be the tribal chief now. Like even if he does that, I'm okay. If that makes any sense.
Here's my thing. I think the fighting champion is overrated in today's climate. Defending the belt every week. Why am I going to watch? This is personally what I do when like Priest was champion and all these champions. You having these matches on Monday Night Raw. They're not going to lose. I'm going to go watch something else. You know, especially if we done seen them wrestle this person before. It's not like it's a new thing. So the whole thing about part-time champions, I listen to what people are saying, but I'll take Roman Reigns run and defending the belt 30-something times over Damian Priest defending it every week to like Jay Uso to JD McDonough, Finn Balor. Like if you're not gonna lose, what's the point? It's just as bad when you really think about it. So that's why I love. What up, Krista? That's why I love Roman's reign.
I think you're talking about the aura, because I think the aura of Roman not defending so much, and like even this thing with Gunther was kind of like on the we don't know, but we do know. But if we know it's going to be a slobber knocker, like the aura of not having defended it so much, like it's special. When I say it's special to defend, it gets lost when you have somebody that's like, I'm going to defend this title no matter when, where, how, when, what temperature it is, what hurricane coming tomorrow. Like it loses its aura to people because we had a champion. Yeah, we had a champion that was like, listen, I want all the big pay-per-views. I'm the main event, point blank, period. And when we go to Saudi Arabia and we go to Saudi and we go to Riyadh, I'm the main event there too. It's lost its aura. So I get what you're saying with that. If that makes, that's
what I love about NXT, because I love like everybody doesn't need to have a lengthy title reign, right? And on this night, I love Trick winning, then losing Ethan in the way he lost it, and then getting it back. On that night, Ethan was better, and he outsmarted him. So now I'm tuning in. Can Trick, when he get this one-on-one match, can he beat him? I don't see Trick win. Maybe he will, but I don't see him definitely holding the title all the way to take over WrestleMania weekend, or stand and deliver, So that's the thing. And so, like, give me another reign with The Rock. Because it don't have to be too long.
You hit it on the head, Brian, where it's it's what's gonna make you want to tune in every week, and you know that the world champion defending it frequently, like you might not watch it, you might not be as invested in it, but if it, that's why I wish they did that more in the women's division, because I feel like, well, now they are, but before everyone held it for like, once you knew who was champion, you knew they were going to be champion for like at least 6 months. And it was just like Charlotte. And mostly it's just like, okay, like, when it's not competitive, then it's not as interesting. So it's like, if The Rock is champion, you're going to tune in just the simple fact. It's like, we know he's not going to be here long. We know he's not about to do he's not going on tour. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, whenever he is going to defend it could be exciting. But then it don't got to be like for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
No, he's onto something, because like with the women, it wasn't just Charlotte held it long. Like Rhea held it for a year, Becky held it for at least 9 months, Bianca held it for almost a year and a half. Like you had a lot of long time. And then that's not even including NXT, where it's like Asuka held it over a year, Shayna held it over a year. Like
Roxanne's coming close too.
Yep.
Like, pretty close on the nail.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I mean, when you think about it too,
yeah, she's already at 6 months now.
Yeah, so when I could get that. It's like Aura. Like, I would have thought the same thing Brian thought. I was like, nah, they're gonna give Trick a little while longer until Oba lost last night. Then I'm like, shit. In my head, I'm like, I'm planting the fucking seeds. And then the same thing, like, too, in my back head, when Wesley had won his street fight, I'm like, okay, he's done playing, like, he's done proving his point. You're heel, haha, we get it. You're a bad guy now. NXT has another bad guy. When you going for the NXT title, because you can be a Triple Crown champion now. So in my head, it's like, okay, it's where the ducks lay when they're doing their stories. They're a lot better at storytelling now. It's not like all over the place. So I can get why you're saying that. And then also too, I'm like, I just think it's cool that even now you have a roster that's so stacked. They're like, all right, who's coming next? Like, you don't know who's coming. Like, because Ethan Page, I felt like was a Joker card in a poker game, because he just came and no one had expected him to be so early. So when he won that night, it was like, wait, hello, like, bro, you just got here. Like, you didn't grow here, you flew here. But at the end of the day, like I said, it made sense. You needed him because NXT had no heel after Braun and Carmelo left, and Sean Spears, like
he ready to coach,
like barely, literally not coach barely.
I'm damn, a headshot for Sean Spears.
Not coach barely. I'm sorry, he was barely ready to be champion. I'm sorry, like he wasn't ready to be NXT's champion. Ethan Page fit the role a lot more because he's cockier. He got more mouth, and he has more outside of WWE. So he walked the talk basically, but. Where I'm getting at is there's so much stackness. There's more like a who's next. We're on the main roster. It's kind of like, okay, you brought this person, you gave them this many matches. We already know they're your main star. You're going to give them the title. They're going to get something. There's Intercontinental, there's the US, there's all these titles you're going to give them. But on XT, it's like, you really don't know. If it makes any sense. Because when Obafemi won that breakout tournament contract, everybody was like, oh, he's going to be NXT champion no matter what. And then he was just like, oh, that title with the red right there, I want that. Boom.
Yeah,
so it's all in how you make it. Just like last rant, and I know I mentioned it in the group chat because I wanted to do this segment so bad, and the boss approved it. But I'm gonna speak my mind on how the Julia and Roxanne finish when we get into that topic, if we get that far. So
yes. So let's actually get into it, because I wanted to kind of just do a run over of all the current champions in the company and just sort of see like where we are. So let's start with NXT, with the Queen of NXT here, Seindole. How did you feel about that finish? How you feel about Cora Jade coming back and her aligning with Roxanne Perez? Give us your opinion on that current status at NXT.
I'm very happy that Team 2001 is back in the game. Like, and I understand it's a new era, but Cora Jade, the minute I saw her come back, I thought they must really miss Mandy Rose, because
Hey, yo,
hold up. It's how Mandy Rose pulled up in 2.0. So I'm like, oh, we doing that. All sis did was have a different hair color and different gear when she pulled back up in 2.0 because she had her broken nose angle when she was on Black and Gold, and then she had a face mask for a while doing the Trish Stratus thing. And then she pulled up, and Homegirl was like the longest reigning NXT champion. And I'm happy 2.0 is back, and I was happy Stephanie showed up yesterday, finally. Tardy to the party, but tardier than never. We still want you here.
Did we know that she was? Did we all know that she was signed already, or was that a surprise?
No, everybody knew because remember Mexico tour and all that. But I think everybody was waiting like, what's gonna bring her in? So when I saw that Cora Jade and Roxanne were about to be besties again, I'm like, okay, you can either do two things with Stephanie. You can either bring her in as the person to take out Roxanne, or you could bring her into a lie with Julia. And that's exactly what happened. So I popped out my seat because I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this episode. But where I am with Cora Jade is like, honey, I need to see you wrestle because that's gonna be the verdict. I'm not saying anything mean. I'm not saying anything nice. I'm not saying anything. Her promos got better. I will say that. I give her credit for that. Her promos got better. She don't sound like she is swallowing her own spit. I give her that credit, right? So promo got even better because that's what it sounded like. I'm sorry. Ryan knows on the last show. Yes, because I said that Roxanne, her promos got better.
So she's reverse Hawktua?
Like, no.
I said Roxanne got better because she sounded like she had a nasal infection, and that got away too. So they both got better in their promos. I give them that. You know, I'm gonna keep it 100. So last year was perfect. Now they're both heels, and now they can be friends. You know, Punk can be proud of his daughters, but let's see how she wrestles with that. Where I am excited though, like I said, it was great to see Kalani Jordan in that triple threat with Jade and Bianca, because now you get a clear answer of where they're trying to go with Kalani Jordan. I'm gonna wait for that mess of a North American Championship match till after. But so far so good. I could have did without Sexyy Red, you know, I'm done. But Javon Evans, y'all. Javon Evans. I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, you're young as fuck. You've done so much in Defy. I've been a fan of him since Defy. Literally, you're wrestling a legend in Randy Orton. And then it's like the botch was barely, I don't know if anybody knows, because a lot of people say he botched. I didn't notice it until I saw it after.
Just missed it. Just off.
Real off.
And I didn't notice it because it was like it was so quick, I guess. It was so quick.
Camera angles.
Right. Yeah. Every video package.
Right. So,
and that's why I feel so bad for them, because I'm for like him, because I'm like, damn, like this could have been a moment, but all in all, it was still a great opportunity for him.
But he did a great job, though. I feel like he did a great job. Absolutely. I feel like all in all, NXT just needs to do more like televised tour TV shows. Come back to New Jersey and New York, we miss you. They just need to do more, but it just makes me excited because they're still trying to. After this week, they're gonna be building up to Halloween Havoc, which we haven't forgot. So they started doing the groundwork basically last night. I was so
happy they took that name, because like I'm not a Halloween person, but I always loved the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view in WCW. So I was so happy. I'm like, I ain't gonna take Starrcade, but yeah, take that one.
But you know what? It's little by little. I thought, and it was funny. I thought Triple H's announcement was another PLE that he took from WCW. Instead, it was that Rhinestone ass belt they put out. But all in all, like I said, I'm happy about Halloween Havoc, and I'm happy about Saturday main event happening. But all in all, I just think that NXT and CW are in good hands from the first 2 episodes. If they start bringing in, if they keep bringing in that type of. And I know a lot of complaints too were about like why the main roster stars on NXT. I'm like, hello, it's to bring exposure to the brand.
But they're also using them very well. Like it's not like they're just using them to overpower everything. Like they're actually, uplifting the NXT talent, in my opinion.
And then can we get a finger snap for Jakara and Lash going on SmackDown this Friday?
Exactly.
The tag team titles. But all in all, great 2 nights, great 2 shows. I felt like the enthusiasm and the pop was always, of course, they were smart doing it in Chicago. It was much better in Chicago than in St. Louis. St. Louis had a good crowd, but all in all, I give it an A+.
Chicago and wrestling town more than St. Louis got history, but
right,
yeah, it's a wrestling.
I think them moving the location kind of messed them up too, but all in all, still a good show.
Yeah, I agree.
NXT popping.
Yeah,
I've been really enjoying it.
Last but not least, to the Obafemi, like, congratulations to him. Now he's ranked as the
longest champion.
Yeah, moment of silence. I wore black again. You know, the same way when Carmelo turned on Trick, I wore black again because I was like, the disrespect. But again, makes me excited because Opa's going for that title. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care who's going to beat up. Sorry, Trick. I'm sorry. Trick is main roster already anyway. So
no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is.
Let's get into it.
Yes, my sister, you've been watching enough.
We can't get black male wrestlers on PLEs now. You think Trick's gonna be ready to go up there and be like, "Oh, what am I doing? So you see this catering right here? Just hold it, sit there for now. We're gonna find something for you eventually."
The landscape could change. Y'all
the best thing for Trick would be chasing Oba. Because that would be a mountain of an obstacle and a mountain of a man for him to overcome. So that's the guy, like, you know, that's who he need to be chasing. He don't Trick. Where do you put him? You gonna put him in the ring with Gunther? You gonna put him in the ring with Damian Priest?
He needs another year.
You said main roster ready.
That's the thing. If you say he's main roster, then you gotta have something ready for him.
Yeah, another year or two. Yes. Y'all gotta remember, Trick just started wrestling. So it's still so much that, like, it's no need. And NXT, he is money. So we need him on CW to sell ads. We need those CW crossovers, and this is where he can be.
You're saying he need a little bit more time to cook.
He need to cook.
A little bit of time to cook, and CW it's a mutual beneficial.
Not to mention, you don't want to rush this. You just did this with Braun Breaker years ago, where you thought he was main roster ready, had him pop up. Then you had to take that title, put it on Ziggler because you're like, no, Braun ain't ready yet, and then stick his ass back down there.
I agree. Braun Breaker needed more time to cook too, because I told y'all he was vanilla ice cream with no bean and no bowl and no special cone.
You said that he went and got tanned.
He went and got tan, and they gave him a little waffle cone edging. You know, put some.
I did it for the family.
You know, and then we got with Corbin. They gave him a little sprinkles, you know, on top. Made him a sundae, and now look at him. Now he ain't even humble.
Yeah, and Trick's in the same position. You don't need to rush it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
I think so too, because I don't know who I was just talking to about this, but NXT stars do a lot of what main roster stars do too now. They're now traveling, they're now on the road. They are getting press opportunities, media opportunities, just as much as the WWE stars. And y'all on a network channel. So like you said, Brian, let Trick be the star. Yeah, and they've been doing really well. He's kind of become the face of the brand. What do you guys think?
That's what I want to say.
Oh yeah, it's him and Roxanne.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job, and I let the main rosters come, especially if they're in the same cities. Let the main roster come and mix it up with the NXT talent, like the Trick Williams Yeet chant.
That
was so dope.
Let me ask y'all this then. What number do you think Trick Williams is going to be in the Royal Rumble? Because you know it's going to happen. I'm sorry. You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. It's Royal Rumble. As much as we like to see it build the roster, it's also a game of chemistry phone, because they use that Royal Rumble to test the chemistry of a lot of their wrestlers. Because with Carmelo, he got a good pop. But I bet you they're going to do it with Trick Williams or somebody like Obafemi, because Lord knows if Obafemi step out of number 2, I'm going to stand on my seat and be like, excuse me, sir, you might as well just take some bowling pins and lay everybody on the side and just...
So with Trick, I'm going to predict in the first 10, because with the NXT people, what they like to do is have him come out early. That way you can kind of showcase him. If like Trick stays in for like the teens, where it's like he's not winning, but we want to showcase him and have him in there with certain people, because always the teens is always like usually your filler. Like your job is that you have Trick clean house, your R-Truths, your JD McMuffin heads, like those types where like Trick can look good against them. And then like when between 15 and 20, when you have someone legit, like maybe a Drew McIntyre comes out, I was like, all right, this is where Trick bows out. But gives him enough time to really showcase.
I don't think he's in the Rumble. Not yet. I think the roster's stacked enough that the person you put it, like, who was there last year? Mello, right? Was he the only one?
No,
I don't think he was the only one. No.
Him and Braun, the two guys that was going up. So if I had to choose, like Ethan Page and maybe another vet, I just don't think Trick or Oba is in there yet because I think it'll be a protection type thing. So if anything, Trick is
what if
with
it's
the
Trick
belt.
And then they somehow go get Joe Hendry and be like, yo, you want to do Rumble?
Now Joe Hendry, yeah.
Joe Hendry, I believe.
Because that entrance, exactly. That's going to be huge for
that's going to be
Royal Rumble pop.
Imagine him I see him, Joe Hendry, probably like a number 5. Like these two, when you think of somebody with Red Bron, all of a sudden you hear say his name. Yo, the place would blow off the roof, especially if they put him
Joe,
in there.
Look what happened with Jordan last year. That's you. With a much catchier theme song that everyone's gonna be like, I know who that is.
And I think they'll be free agents by then anyway. Joe and Jordan.
Oh yeah.
If not, then
yeah. So, question: do you guys have any early predictions for Rumble winners?
The Rock.
Oh my God, I would be so.
No, I think honestly, that
was a good people's eyebrow though.
Oh, thank you. I've been trying to get that for years. Brother Hugh was always the one who could do it. I struggled. Now who did I say the other day? I'm gonna say Roman.
Okay. Women.
Women. Oh, Roxanne Perez. No. Sorry, Michin gonna catch momentum by then.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting take.
I like Roman. That's a good one. For the women, I think this is going to be the first time you have a 2-time Royal Rumble winner, and her name is Charlotte Flair.
Because I do like her, and I do miss her.
I mean, we're next month. I think it's next month. We're coming on a year since she had the knee injury, so I think it'll be enough time for her to quietly get ready for that, and that's where you bring her in.
I low-key don't think she needs the Rumble if Nia Jax is still the champion by then. I think it's she's gonna bold hold for Nia at that point.
I'm gonna go different. For Charlotte Flair, it's time. Belair versus Flair. Book it in Vegas.
Oh God, that's a goodie right there. That's
a hook right there.
And that's why I said Charlotte's winning, because I don't see Nia holding that title all the way to Rumble.
No, but
she has the title. I don't think that's.
I don't think Nia gets it, but at the same time, we've never had a failed in cash in. So Tiffany could be that person that might be the first one. It's like, it ain't working out for you. Sorry, babes.
What? Wait, whoa. You think Tiffany's
said it
to fail and cash in?
We've never had it for the women. It's gonna happen at some point.
But no, they don't like it to happen for the women, I feel, because it's like they already get enough grief. Do you really want somebody as young and as buildable as Tiffany Stratton losing her first cash in? You don't want that. You don't want that. It kills momentum for way too many people, because look at the last person who had their cash in fail. Look at how he's recovering. Not too well.
But at the same time, on the flip side, because the women have never had a failed one.
Yeah, but they're not.
If she comes out, you know she's winning it, so it's already predictable because they have yet to have a fail. So at some point, it's got to happen. At some point,
but they can't go do it now.
You can't go. You can't go for like the next 10 years. Like they never fail a cash in, because then it becomes ultra predictable.
But why would they make some? I'm sorry, not to insult you, Justin. That's just the dumbest thing to ever happen if they do it to Tiffany, because you spent so much time building this girl up. For her to lose, to end up, and not to shade Austin Theory, but to end up in his spot to do what exactly?
It's
like, how are you gonna make Tiffy Tom? How you gonna make Tiffy Tom believable if she cashed in on Tiffy Tom and she lost during Tiffy Tom? Tiffy Tom ain't gonna work no more. So what do you turn Tiffy Tom into?
Friend, I hear you, and you're thinking logically. I am seeing big picture Vegas. What's gonna pack that fucking stadium? Bianca and Charlotte for that title. Bianca's never faced Charlotte. That's the only horsewoman she's never faced. A returning Charlotte that's not gonna fucking get booed to fill out that stadium. That's a fucking main event match.
It is.
We don't have to rush Tiffany though, because she still got till July.
Right.
That's true. And her carrying it is really good week to week to week. I do get your point about it's gonna happen eventually. I don't think it's gonna happen with Tiffany, but I do feel you where it's like a failure has to happen just to shake it up. But it has to be somebody that has a strong character, because you can't, because like you said, like the women get enough grief, and also it's gonna kill momentum. So they would have to really flip that and make it like a thing.
And the first man was John Cena.
So fire.
Right. The first man was John Cena. Look at what it did to him. It barely touched him.
Yeah, like we wouldn't remember until we talk about it.
He is in one of the best people.
I'm just saying for argument's sake, because everyone, it's almost like cemented Tiffany's gonna be a champion. It's like, is it though?
So you want to ask?
This is Triple H booking that does like to throw curveballs from time to time. It's like, is it?
That's valid.
And you see where they're at now, where her and Nia are not on the same accord. And Nia's looking at her like, bitch, I will squash you if you try this one more time with this fucking I'm out here to help you shit.
I think we setting up for a mega babyface run for Tiffy.
1,000%.
She gonna hit them. She gonna be, she gonna hit
and
all them Disney
another
princesses.
thing, Rikarsha. That's another thing. Charlotte's very close to
Charlotte
that fucking Ric Flair record.
Big goal. She getting that big goal.
Close.
That fits
because her and you're right. Because her and Cora Jade were like the same time, and Cora Jade's back, so you might, you got a point. Like we're bridging October end.
That's true. I didn't even think about those people winning. Justin, who's your early guesses for Rumble?
I said Charlotte for the women.
I
think the way this is going, it's so bloodline heavy. It's got to be Rock or Roman.
Okay.
I'll probably say Roman because it makes the most sense. But then Rock doing it also would make a lot of sense, though. But Roman, this makes more sense for him.
Bro,
I was actually gonna ask if Roman ever won, because the time he did win was just so.
I was thinking that.
We don't talk about those were the dark ages.
This would be the first win for him, because then the crowd would actually give a fuck, like
Again,
and the crowd
they won't feel like it's being fed to them. I feel, because it was like the documentaries will show and history will show the reason why they booed that poor man is because they knew, like, oh, the John Cena is gone, and you think you're just going to give us our Royal Rumble women? Like, no, we didn't choose him. We didn't cheer for him like that for you to just give it to him.
We got robbed of Daniel Bryan because of his injury, and we thought he back, so it's time to put the belt back on him.
But now they're like, you try and give us this Timu bloodline, and you think we just want to cheer for them? No. Where's the original guy that was here? Where's the original? Who?
I heard you acknowledge Solo as your tribal chief.
Excuse me?
He was like, Jacob, I love you, Solo.
Sir, I love you. Sir, I love you.
How's he doing? Like,
I love you. Yo. Don't make me get on that. Don't make me get on that.
You see him kicking his leg, and somebody put the Michael Jackson behind.
Yo, I think it was lovely that said that he's in his baddie era or something.
That's Brian. Don't make me get on this Greyhound and find you. Okay.
Yo, Jacob been through some things, so man, when he look, it's all legit with him. That dude said he was in jail watching his cousins do their thing, watching the Usos, and now he there. Man, this is incredible.
First of all, I've never acknowledged Solo as my tribal chief. First of all. Second of all, I only root for Jacob, because Jacob has impressed me. He has aura. That's the only thing I said. The rest of them, I said, you give me Butch Loa every 5 fucking pay-per-views and think it's appropriate for me to like him, and then no.
So you don't like when Tommy goes Beavis and Butthead?
No.
I think it's all on purpose. And the Yankees take the lead.
No. Yeah, Yankees. No. The only person that I could give credit to is Jacob. And then I have my own theories about the Loas, both of them. Because listen, Solo's going home to Poppy. I'm sorry, he's going home to the original, and they're not going to like it. And what's gonna happen is, they're gonna be like, you brought us here, and you think we're just gonna go with everything that's going on here? No. And then between the three of them, they're either gonna bring another Fatu or Loa or Zula or whoever's sitting in the background waiting to come out and make their own bloodline. And we're just gonna have bloodline. We're gonna have bloodline until we enter like Randy Orton in the Hall of Fame or some shit. I'm sorry, it can go that long.
But
that's how many people
when they all come back together and just wreak havoc on the roster.
Yo, they got a whole cousin who's I think she's like a nurse or something, and WWE's considering her. They haven't had a female yet.
I know they have Hikuleo on ice. That's like a 7-2 Samoan.
Mm-hmm.
The Tonga twins is been in Florida back and forth more than I've been to the dentist. Hello.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were training with Natty right now.
This can go on until they're ready to put freaking Cody Rhodes in the Hall of Fame. We don't know.
Did y'all see that
WrestleMania 51 Samoan Dynasty Deluxe?
Deluxe
triple main events. There's 30 of them. Battle Royal main event.
The battle of the tribal chief. Come on, like we can
we're just gonna hang the Ulafala on top of the ring and just y'all just gonna fucking wreak havoc for it. Go.
Not to say I can't look. It's to the point where am I gonna really sit here and try and acknowledge a new tribal chief? No, you're probably gonna change him every year. So I'm just gonna stick with the original one, who's Roman Reigns. You see him, the tribal chief, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna acknowledge him always. You see me, the tribal chief. That's it. Because there's too many of them trying to run tribal chief. It's like a presidential election.
Jey Uso did an interview, I think, or one of them, and was saying how there are so many 15-year-old boys in the family.
Oh yeah, that was Jay.
They're about to start their own bloodline, and I'm like, oh, 1,000 eyes can so see that shit.
Have you seen them?
No.
Have you seen them? One of them is like, I think one of them is like 5'11".
I bet you they all gonna play football. They're gonna do the same football.
They're gonna play football. They're gonna play basketball, and then all of a sudden it's like, so how about this wrestling thing?
I said Lance told me straight up. He said his dad told him go play baseball. Wrestling will be here, and he played college baseball a little bit, and then boom, came to the business.
It runs the conversation. Shout out to Nesto, because Nesto was like, somebody told him at his job that the Hart family was the biggest wrestling family. He was like, the Hart family, huh? He was like, Google the Rock's family tree, and you'll see. He was like, the Hart family. Okay,
they're old school fans,
right? Because not a lot of Harts are active.
There's like 15 Samoans for one Hart member.
Exactly.
It's like this. It's like Avengers. It's like Avengers Endgame, where like the portal opens and all of a sudden you see all the Samoans just come out. It's just like, what the fuck? There's more. God damn.
That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. Bloodline rules, right?
You get everybody. There's more.
Cody.
Nicola's gonna come out the ground with like 7 of them in his hand, just like, here you go.
I wanted to see Cody walk down WrestleMania and be surrounded by him. Like it was like, you know how when Seth Rollins came down, he's surrounded by the things. I wanted to see Cody walk through the bloodline for real.
I still want that to happen because they was talking mad shit, Cody, about how that's his match because he never lost one. So I wanted to be like, okay, well, this is gonna be the one that you gonna lose because my whole family gonna be here.
Yep.
Like talk about rolling in the deep. I'm telling you, it's like a presidential election. Like every year we're gonna have a qualifier for the fucking tribal chief, and then you go see Roman Reigns and be like, "Oh, you still trying to dethrone me? We still doing this?" After I told you I'm the
really
OG.
Their business. It's the wrestling business really belongs to the Samoan dynasty.
It's like when Crumbles first opened. Everybody said they were popping. Then they opened like 3-4 different chains, and now everybody hates crumble cookies. That's how I'm feel about this.
I just saw that come up on my TikTok, and I was like, "Since when was this such a thing?"
Disgusting. The most disgusting.
So what I saw is white people reviews are good, and the black people. Black people are like white people love them.
Patricia, we trust in reviews from our people versus those people. And not to be offensive,
colonizers.
Thank you.
Said it. You trust colonizers,
ma'am. So you like crazy? You like raisins in your potato salad too? Is that?
I don't know. Last time we was all together, our main event favorite wrestler, he put someone for the raisins and the potato salad. That being Sir Wilkins.
Oh, he's different.
Wilkins get a pass. He do whatever he wants.
Exactly. He built different.
He get a pass.
Individual.
He built different.
I can't even
Literally.
how does that even work?
I had somebody long story short, imagine if you wanted the original tribal chief shirt, right? And they swore it was the one that Roman signed, and you've seen people wear the one that Roman signed, and you're like, oh my God, I want that shirt so bad. And then they delivered the shirt to you and it's 2 sizes too small, and then it says Donald Duck at the bottom of that shirt. You're gonna be pissed you waited for that shirt. That's how I feel about Crumbles cookies.
I'm about to say,
they swore by it. Yes, they swore by it, and 1 out of 5 cookies were good. You disrespected me once. I'm not getting disrespected again.
She felt
So you're saying that they got a 20% chance? Good.
They got a 7% chance.
So
I'm sorry.
Oh
no,
man,
it's time your
good to
cookies
be
for
back
life.
in the club.
It does. I wanna.
This feels to the day I die.
He's like, we may need another month.
I
wasn't ready for this.
I wanna give everyone some love that's in the comment. The comments are on fire. Everybody is back in the building with us. We got a lot of people joining. Welcome back to Fan Club. We are catching up on a little bit of everything that is happening in the wrestling world. But we do have some stuff that people put in the chat. So I'm gonna bring up some comments. I want to talk about this because I gotta tell you, at 10 o'clock Monday night, I was like, what do I do now? I was like, do I watch something wrestling related? Because mind you, I don't even think I care to ever watch Raw till 11, but it's the fact that it wasn't on.
I was Level Up after Raw. Because I was like,
what'd you watch?
I watched Level Up after Raw because I was like, I'm not used to this. Like, I take a nap to reserve this special time, and now like an hour is gone. And it happened. It's like it happened fast. Is it me or? Yeah,
no,
like it felt fast.
Good. I think it's because it was also like a good show. I don't know if you guys agree.
Yo, that was a really good show.
It was good.
I gotta go back and watch it. I'm on the fence though with 2 hours because on one hand, it's good because it means it's gonna flow faster. It means there's not gonna be a lot of filler. It's gonna be what gets on the show, makes it more precise and tight. But on the flip side, that means people are gonna get cut, things are gonna get cut, time restraints. You already saw it. You saw it this week where like people were pissed off that you threw all the women in one segment. It was a 5-on-5 women's match, and they kind of rushed it. And it's like you might start getting some of those where it's like, especially when you see Raw, where Raw has more people than SmackDown. That means a lot of people ain't gonna get that TV time, man.
Well, they got to make it glitch. They got to make it work again, because if we've learned anything from a SmackDown, you can botch up the first 2 back hours on a different network, and then next episode, like, all right, what did we do wrong? Let's make this right. And I think that's what they're gonna do, because now they've seen the discourse. They're like, yeah, we kind of scaled back because we had to cut things. And I think what is gonna help though is that it's going to Netflix. When you get an added Netflix show, you're only getting like 1 ad per, and it's only going to last you like maybe 20 minutes. So it's not like you're going to have to cut that much if you live on Netflix. You're going to run 1 ad and that's it. So I think it's just a prep. Like, they're just doing it because it's on USA. You're going to see it a lot, but I think it'll definitely change, and they'll get it together before Netflix. Because the Lord knows I don't want another 5-on-5 again. That wasn't disastrous, but it was just like, why are we doing this?
And that's the thing, man. It's like the last time it was a 2-hour Raw, we ain't have social media. So you have people that are going to be very vocal about, yo, we ain't going to do like we did back in the day where you're cutting women's matches. We want to see women wrestle. We want to see them give them time. You already saw people, WB catching shit over black male wrestlers not getting on PLEs. You start having where the women are getting their shit cut. And especially people have been asking like, yo, Bianca J, what are we really doing with these titles? Other than just bouncing around. Like, we're going to do something with this.
They're on SmackDown, so...
Yeah, understandable, but but SmackDown's 2 hours. That's the thing, is like now you're gonna put that same problem on Raw.
It's all about the stories, man. It's the best story. That's what you got to see.
Just
see the story.
That's the good
But that's
thing.
the thing. The fans, it's not just the stories. The fans also want to see their wrestlers. We want to see Jay. We want to see Seth. We want to see Punk. We want to see Drew. We want to see Gunther. But we also want to see Rhea and Liv and these girls. And we want to see. By the time you get to everything, it's like, okay, all this can't fit in 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that makes you want to watch every show because now the roster's so stacked with stars. Like you just basically named majority of the roster, which is dope. That all of these people are must see. Back in the day, it was like one wrestler was the big star and was the center of the show, and if he wasn't there, God forbid, or something, then it was like no show almost. But now, like Cody don't have to show up, and it will be a good Raw. Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot. The stat.
I'm thinking in that too. Like after a while, now that listen, you want Cody to also draw in specific things. If you want to keep his aura up, you can't have him on every Raw. Like you got Jey Uso to balance him off now. Like it's gonna, and it's worked. It's gonna work off. You've got, like you said, I understand your worry about the female roster, but let everything do what it's supposed to do. And then especially considering the fact that you now have another programming on a network television, you still have to satisfy a completely different network now in CW in order to keep that and grow that WB hopefully relationship. You have to find a place for everybody. They can go back and forth. Like I had to see Kaden, and because I forgot that Kaden and Katana were there, but who's to say they can't go back to NXT for a while and then come back up because they've done it before. So I understand the concern, but like I said, I just think the tone will change once we get to Netflix because you're not going to get that much. It's still running on ad time and they still have to satisfy the network because you can't run a sponsored programming without X, Y, and Z. If you know, like marketing wise, you can't run a programming without ads. And it's the ads that cut into this 2-hour Raw. That was a problem in the past. That's probably been the problem with the 3-hour Raws because it's so ad heavy. The last Raw, the second to last Raw before they went back 2 hours was literally only a runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes because of how many ads they had. So this is going to make sense once Netflix hits.
I think you touched on something too that I want to see, which is balance out the rosters, especially that if Raw's not 3 hours, then Raw doesn't need to have the majority of the roster. Like have some go to SmackDown, have some go to NXT, and make it more balanced.
I think we'll see.
It's gonna work out. It's gonna work. We've been here before. It's gonna work.
That was good. Good. That was a good one.
And also, I think we'll also see. We won't see the same stars every week because they also prioritizing days off and more family time. So you may see you might get like a month of Jey Uso, then you might get like 2 weeks out of the next month. You won't get them. It does hurt some of the live audience, but you won't see a lot of that burnout. Like CM Punk already told us, look, I'm going home for a while. I owe my wife some time. I think we're gonna get a lot more of that, and I think that's gonna keep everybody special.
I think one thing too that we have to remember about the current landscape is they are doing very well with using social media. So you can further a storyline with somebody and not be on TV at all. Like look at Drew and CM Punk. Majority of their feud this year, CM Punk wasn't even in the he wasn't even on TV, and that's the majority of everything that happens.
Hey, Punk, I'm in your city. I got your cookies. What you gonna do now? And I got your bracelet.
It wasn't in the same frame.
Going into the gym before WrestleMania and working on his triceps while having Meek Mill's dreams and nightmares talking about some I used to pray for times like genius, bro. And that I think that's what got this feud really ignited. When you think about after that, because it's like I pray for this to happen, and then you go and do that like the next day.
That's so disrespectful.
But it was genius. It was heel genius. I don't like his ass. I don't like his ass. But when they talk about like a heel perfection, I'm sorry. I'm like, and I'm perfection on that note.
This is an interesting topic. I think with the women's, I don't think you introduced another mid card because as much as WWE doesn't pay attention to AEW, that's been one of the biggest complaints with AEW is everyone has a fucking belt. So all your pay-per-views is basically like 15 title matches. So if everyone has a belt, then what differentiates the belt from like meaning stuff? So you already have a women's tag team titles. I think that explains the trios and where you can have factions and crews where it's like, Bianca and Jay go for or defend their women's tag team titles. Naomi can always go for the women's world title or whatever the one is, women's championship. I think is the Raw one. It's easier when it was SmackDown and women's title, but you can have like Naomi go for that while they maintain the tag team titles. But then you're investing so much in PFC. You're investing so much into these tag teams that's just like you keep investing in them, and that's your mid card title, especially where it allows them to bounce around shows because Bianca and Jay can go wherever.
And then I also think about the fact that, like, with NXT and it being balanced the way it happens, Dominic Mysterio being the North American champion was not a lot of people's bingos cards, but it kept a lot of eye on the product. Yep. Who's to say a woman's not going to go after Kalani that's already on the main roster and was like, if Becky could do it and Dom could do it, why can't I do it? And it doesn't have to be. We've seen it in the past. NXT, like Dolph Ziggler was one. Then you had, like I said, Dominic Mysterio. Then you had Becky Lynch. Who's to say that it can't be a free for all? Like, let's keep it a stack. Like, you want that practice. You want that practice, and you want that draw. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that's the best part about, what's so fun about watching this product right now is it's a lot of stuff that's unpredictable. Like you said, nobody saw Dominic Mysterio. I mean, shoot, even Kalani, her winning the title, we didn't think, a lot of people didn't think she was going to be like the person to be the inaugural champion. And then we're watching her grow literally in front of us. Yeah. Like every week, this woman gets a new personality and it goes to another level. And I said this somewhere. It reminds me of Daniel Bryan's first title run. You remember when he was like, yes, but he was so obnoxious and nobody really got it until WrestleMania 28. Then the chants went crazy. And then afterwards, him losing did much more for him. But like that whole time he went from being like this happy to be here to obnoxious and then kept building. And that's what we see with Kalani Jordan. So, imagine she getting a rub from somebody like a Natalya or somebody.
Right. And she already got, her team with Jade and Bianca, who are the, like, if not sought out and most hyped women in the division right now. Flex. Easy flex. Right. Easy flex, in my opinion. And I also think that too, like, I know we talk about a lot of like developmental stuff. And it's like at the end of the day, we don't feel it because we're so into their characters now. It's still a developmental brand. You want people that have already been somewhere close to the mountaintop, mentoring those youth so that they know what exposure really, really is, because them going on the road during PLEs was nothing. They've been on now in live shows on national television. And then what I think is great is that main event is still going and they're on main event too. Because you got a lot of NXT stars who were on main event. I always said that, like, in my opinion, Easy Dane, who's now everybody's looking at now, she had her best match was on freaking level, was on main event. And then right after that, she did Level Up. And I'm like, she's improving. So a lot of these girls, like I said, that Nashville tryout team, they're knocking people out the park. But now they're going to look for it. And then, like I said, they roll every WrestleMania, every SummerSlam, every Survivor Series. They roll a different pair of tryouts for different people. They may walk out with maybe 6 and might not be a big class, but you want to keep the train moving. You don't got time to keep everybody in the back because they can't do this on TV or they're not ready to do that. But peek them out a little bit. And the only way you're going to do that, if you're not going to main them on Raw and SmackDown yet, is to bring those veterans to NXT. Randy Orton would have never said it. People were saying funny because old Randy Orton would have been like, "Why the fuck you got me entertaining these kids?" But new Randy's like, "Oh, you're 19, right? I heard you can go. Let's go."
Right, that's like, cute. I got you.
Old Randy wouldn't have went. Period.
Like, and the live shows, like people are gonna want to buy tickets because they're traveling now. So it's like you want to sell them tickets where you like. I might go more because I might just see Jade or Bianca or Cody or CM Punk or somebody come through. I want to know y'all opinion on this because I thought it was going to be a women's mid-card title when Triple H was saying that he had
the 2B title
news. And I seen that. I just thought it looked so obnoxious and ridiculous. And then I realized like this is basically just for the Saudi Arabia shows. But what did you guys think of it?
I don't hate it. They need something. I don't know about prestige is the word, but I mean, you throw a belt in front of the wrestlers, they're gonna want to wrestle for it, right? So having your 2 world champions on both shows, 2 world champions from both shows face each other for a title means something versus, bragging rights, and it kind of brings us what Survivor Series used to do. So I'm all for it.
When Brock coming to get
it?
Hell no, Brock and Brockisha can stay far away. I'm good right now.
But he ain't. But he ain't.
But I do like
Goldberg to get it. When Goldberg going to get it?
You ain't seen the shit with his daughter that wrestles?
Oh no. I'm not talking about
I'm not
talking about his daughter.
No, we're not talking about Bruno up on this chat.
We're gonna move on out of that because all right, so the Saudi title. So it's champion versus champion. So it's right now it'll be Cody and Gunther, and then the winner of that gets that.
When is Goldberg coming to get it?
That's a fun
that old AARP guy can stay far away from a wrestling ring. I don't want Goldberg, Gilbert, anything have to do with Bergs. No, stay away.
So with most titles, to me, what frustrated me is like, bro, like if you want to give, I don't give a fuck about the internet energy, introduce a title that caters to absolutely barely anybody backstage except for the current people who already have titles.
Already,
do that. If you want to give, if Deftone was the situation, that would be the situation. I'm yelling, sorry. If Deftone was a situation, that would be the situation.
So
because go ahead. Don't give us a tournament. Don't give us no backstory. Ignore the fact that we've been asking for at least one more belt for the women so they can have something, because you unified the tag team titles for some reason, which we still don't understand to this day. Give us a belt to put against 4 people that already are champions so they can be the ultimate champion. Make a 2-time belt out of somebody like we fucking needed it again, because you separated the belts for a reason, and this is your way of unifying a champion without unifying the champions that belts they already have. Make it make sense.
I have a theory. It really honestly all comes down to fucking money, because y'all have to give the Saudi Arabia crowd a show. Y'all kind of did all the legends. Y'all mixed all the legends up already. Y'all kind of did. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, what big can y'all bring to this Saudi Arabia show? Let's have every single champion involved in the main event by having a belt that they can win.
And then the disrespect to me, the disrespect to me in it, that it would have made sense if you'd have been like, okay, whoever's the Intercontinental Champion or the US Champion can go after it, or whoever women have like a tour, like make it interesting. No, you slap 4 people and you're like, okay, you want me to believe that Liv Morgan, and no shade to Liv Morgan, is going to whoop Nia Jax's ass for that belt?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Untie her boot and roll her up.
Bingo.
Oh my god.
She beat Rhea. Rhea beat Nia. It's the.
And then you want to also bring down and make in that, fine, make it exciting. But it's like, you just like, if Deftone was like a situation, I felt like watching it, I was like, this man, like, we thought Mr. McMahon, no offense to him, at least it took him a while, like the spin slow wheel. I feel like after every situation he got it, you just did not get it, because it's just like, why do we have this belt? And then you tell us there's diamonds on it. Sir, they steal belts from wrestlers in real life. You really had to tell us what was on the belt? Like, you couldn't, like, where are you gonna keep, who's gonna travel with that? Where's it going?
That's what's going on in somebody's trophy case.
It's gonna stay in Riyadh in a bulletproof case for people to walk around and look at it? Nah, bro.
Don't they have like an exhibit over in Riyadh right now? WWE? That's where we're going.
If Deftone was a situation, that whole situation was Deftone. So I'm ready for them to announce that WrestleMania was coming like to Detroit or something. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't like I said, I thought they were gonna bring back a PLE that was like he would have been better at announcing that Starrcade was coming back.
Yes, Jermaine.
Let's be real.
Yes. One more run with The Rock.
Yes, because The Rock can actually do stuff in the ring. Goldberg, the last time we saw Goldberg, that shit was, who's next? A retirement home. That's what's next. Stay your ass out of the ring.
And then he was also just giving horrible matches. Yeah. Like, it's one thing to be like, okay, Goldberg, not my cup of tea of a legend to come back multiple times. But it's okay. Like, if you do, you do. But it's like the last few times you've come back, it's been horrible.
It's like, Goldberg, how are you winded after 2 minutes? You don't have sex with your wife? You don't do any form of cardio? No. Why are you tired after 2 minutes? What is this? We're paying you for this shit? No. No.
Who's a legend? Who is the best legend that comes back and stays the good amount of time, wrestles just enough and decent enough, and then leaves? I gotta say Trish.
Oh,
I say Trish and Cena. Trish and Cena, I think, do it very well recently because we're watching their legend era in real time. Like John Cena, like we watched him start, finish. I guess the same with Trish too, actually. But Cena more close, like he was just the guy not too long ago. So, and I think he's doing it very well, and he is one of those people that was so overexposed to us that now we just all just love him at this point. Because now it's like, all right, you've lived here for 20 years now. I guess I do love you. Like,
but you know, the respect factor comes in. John Cena can enter a match with anybody young, lose, and you're still like, you know what, you still got it. Like you, like none of these. And from what you hear, a lot of these legends, you bringing them back to lose, you got to pay them top fucking dollar. Like I did not know, and I know we're gonna dive into it. I do want to dive into it a little bit, but I learned a lot during that Mr. McMahon documentary. Even though it's all been confirmed, it's stuff we already knew, but a lot of it was his point of view. You mean to tell me the Undertaker walked into that WrestleMania thinking he was gonna beat Brock Lesnar, and then you tell him before his match, nah, bro, you're losing?
That's wild stuff.
Yeah.
I never knew that. And I
never knew that either.
No wonder he looked so disappointed. Yeah, but no wonder he looked so disappointed after the loss. I'm like, yo.
He wasn't home.
He wasn't. Yo.
No, he wasn't all there. If you go back,
he wasn't home.
That first 10 minutes, he takes a suplex the wrong way, and he's like, "Yep, I'm in La La Land for the rest of this match."
Yeah, but I'm like, you mean to tell him you told him before he even went out to Gorilla, like, hey, by the way, the streak ends tonight. I think we're done. Like, that's it.
Seindole, are you really surprised? This is a guy who notoriously changes his mind hour by hour, day by day, even minute by minute. Vince is always like, I will change shit in a heartbeat, and y'all have to fucking find a way to audible and deal with this.
You're right, but I think in my head, when I first saw that in the documentary, I was like, you do that to him. You do that to your legend that comes in, gave you a WrestleMania, like had his first surgery after the first bout he had with Shawn, took that year to rehab, came back, did it with Triple H, took another year to small rehab after a tear, then came back to fight for end of an era, then came back to fight CM Punk and still wasn't 100% when he fought CM Punk. And then you let him fight on one of the second to last biggest WrestleManias of another decade just to tell him the night of that he's losing. In my mind, right? I don't care, like legend wise, I can never get too mad at legends returning because I found out you put up with that shit. I'm never going to say nothing bad about you. After that, I was like, damn, I've been giving Undertaker so much shit for his ideology and shit.
And then Seindole, on top of that, this part, your man was like, oh yeah, by the way, you didn't have a concussion. Like, bro, you had to fucking leave Gorilla and go with him to the hospital. You didn't even stay for the main event because your man was not all the way there. Are you a doctor now? Are you Dr. McMahon? How do you not
Here's
know?
The thing that nobody will really look at it, but it's the truth. The Undertaker is Vince McMahon's biggest puppet. And Michelle McCool said that, anytime he calls, you run. Anytime he calls. And you look at it, but this is a guy who was told he would never draw money in his business. Then he's given a horrible gimmick, and he made it. He took the epitome of turning lemon into lemonade. Who would have thought a mortician that's a cowboy would have been the greatest of all time?
Right. Talked at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, like
it's true. And it's so many. I think the telling him to finish the day before and I don't want to say in anyone's defense, but that's also wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how it is. It's how it is. It fucked up. I do think that because of the levity of the streak and the fact that this has been a thing for like this is like your identity of your wrestling career at this point. You could have given me more of a heads up, like, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's a for sure. Like that's a lot to handle.
It could have been worse. Like, remember, Seth said he found out he was cashing in halfway through that WrestleMania 31. So imagine if you're Roman and Brock getting ready for that. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Vince just changed the finish. This one's cashing in and getting the title. You're like, the shows are pretty going on. Where I'm about to start getting ready and warm. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, yeah.
That's what I'm always interested when those finishes change. Like how fast it's related. Think about when Brock won the Money in the Bank. And Mustafa Ali standing up there, and then all of a sudden Lesnar's music hit, and I never seen Brock run up so fast. And
flying back a run, like
it was hilarious. But I'm always interested, like how fast, because like you said, looking at that story, it does seem like when you go back and watch a wrestling, it does seem like Brock is going to win. They kept saying death, taxes, and the streak. That made you think, oh, they really about to end this because they keep hinting that it's
emphasizing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean that's the joy of wrestling is like we are taking away a totally different perspective on Undertaker on this one match. If you think about it, like this one match, this one finish that got changed on the fly. But what were some other big things? Because it was I saw a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people were underwhelmed. A lot of people didn't know a lot that was in there. So were you guys disappointed? Did you feel like it lived up to the hype? Do you think that we really got a Vince docuseries that we all deserved as wrestling fans?
I like hearing with people. I talked to Shea Serrano today, and he was like, he was like, he fell out. Like he watched younger and then was without till the Eddie Guerrero era and stopped again. So he learned so much. And it's always interesting, like when I talk to like my god brother and my sister who watched a lot of wrestling, but then they stopped around after the Attitude Era. So now they catching up and like, oh yeah. So that's the perspective I like looking at it. To me, it wasn't like a disappointment. Like, I didn't expect to go in and get a new history lesson, because we consume so much of this stuff already. So I was expecting to like already know about it, but I wanted to see how they was going to tell a story. So this is a 10 out of 10 for me, but I'm a WWE mark.
I just, from the beginning, the way they had, and I was going to do a TikTok about it, but then I said, let me watch it first because you guys know how production and documentaries work. From the trailer, I knew this was going to be a slight hit piece, how does Vince make WWE work? And I felt like in the beginning, that's, I think, what they were going to go into. I think that's why Vince agreed to it, because off the rip, he said in past interviews, Vince does not like to talk about himself. He cares more about talking about what he's built, what he's done, and that's it. So when I heard it was Miss McMahon and I'm seeing a trailer and I'm like, wait, why am I watching all the stuff that we already seen on like WrestleMania or like WrestleHolics and all this stuff that's already done documentaries on him? What difference am I going to learn about Miss McMahon? And I think what it was starting out as was, how does somebody like Mr. McMahon run a multi-billion-dollar company as a family-owned business? How does he keep going? But I think when all the allegations and stuff starting to pop in his head, production was like, what's going to get people to watch a Netflix documentary about a man who owns the most profitable wrestling sports entertainment company, better than the NFL, almost as big as the NFL, the NHL, MLB, bigger than all. He ranks with all of them as a top sport with UFC. What's going to make it more interesting? Let's make it about all these allegations that just came out and then some. Because even when I'm watching the chapters, it seemed like I was watching him tell his story about his life while talking about WrestleMania, and then all these wrestlers chime in to how it was like working with him. Like, God bless Tony Atlas, because Tony Atlas was saying half of what I was thinking when they got to the part about family, and people were like, "Do you think that Shane would have been?" And that's one perspective that really hit me home. Like, he really don't have an attachment with his son, and as much as everybody wants Shane to run the business, when Tony Atlas said no, he can't because he's very nice and I like him. But in business, you can't be nice.
Not in that business.
Not in that business. The person who is more like Vince is his daughter. I was like,
yep. And that has been known for so long. And you can even see, I love that the family, right. And I love the family oriented episode because I've always been fascinated by kids that grow up in these unique universes.
Yeah.
Where like there's no girl or boy can ever relate to how Shane and Stephanie grew up. Like, and it's like fascinating to me. So I wanted to know more of their perspective of growing up with Vince as a father and stuff like that. And in those early interviews, you could see Stephanie is all in. Like, she is like, she's hungry. Exactly. Like, she's just like, no, I think they both always wanted to be in the business, but I think Steph just like respected her father in a different way than Shane did, because I think Shane was a little bit more like reasonable and looking at them like, you know, this is crazy. They called him conservative, I think Vince called Shane.
Yeah, he called him conservative.
But I think that's just because Shane was looking at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, come on, like the storyline where my sister's pregnant and your idea is, hey, Shane, come into this office, run this idea by me. What do you think? I'm going to say I'm the father of your sister's baby. And you're looking at him like, did you have CTE? Like, what the hell? And you're like, all right, fine, that doesn't work. You go in there and you say you're the father of her baby, and he's looking at you like, bro, like what? Like, bro, like, okay, not bad. I get my sister, she busting, but like, bro, like, not that type of market, But that's the kind of thing he grew up with. And then, like, I like how it's a history role with itself, because think of how when Vince talked about how his father gave him the business, right? From what it sounded like to me, it literally doesn't sound like, people made it seem like all these years that Vince got the business handed to him by his father. He took out a loan, paid his father back little by little, and then took it. It wasn't just given to him. So it was kind of given to him.
He worked hard for it.
So when I hear that he didn't want to give his son the same advantage, and his son's ideal was like, all right, my father doesn't see me as respect, I'm like, no, bro, your father's treating you the same way his father treated you. It just has to be different because the times have changed. You can't take a small loan. Like, even with the UFC thing, I can kind of get Vince McMahon's point of view, because if you're somebody who's trying to run a sports entertainment and you like characters, you like stories, what story and character are you going to build in UFC? They're straight fighters with a background who come and box each other. I'm not going to get it either if I have a sports creative background. But Shane just want to be in like, oh, I want a piece of something that my father has, and then we could probably turn to something. And he's like, no, you have to come up with the money yourself, like I did. Like,
right.
We're talking Vince McMahon, dog.
Like, you have to, and I get that.
I think like if you look at it from a wrestling fans standpoint, obviously because we micromanage everything to the T, we watch every single documentary, we watch every single show. This isn't new information, but for like someone that's never really watched wrestling, that only knows Vince McMahon for, oh, that's the guy that runs WWE. Oh, this is the guy that has all these allegations. Again, you gotta take this into context. 90% of this was filmed before all that shit came out. So, and they had to keep reminding you during this, like, yo, this is before all this stuff came out, because once it came out, Vince said, I ain't doing this final fucking round of interviews. Fuck this shit. Bye. But
yeah, because he doesn't like talking about himself. And
and like, it's like, if you're learning this for the first time, you don't know about the Wendy Richter stuff. You don't know about WrestleMania, but you don't know about the Owen Hart stuff. You don't know about the Chris Benoit stuff. You don't know about the steroid scandal stuff. I didn't know the Wendy Richter stuff. Like, I knew, obviously everyone knows about the Mountain Screw Job. I didn't know that was the original screw job and how that came about. So that was new information. And it's also, you're hearing Vince talk about these things from his own point of view. And if you really pay attention to what Vince is saying and not saying, you learn some shit where it's like, you confirm some shit. Like, for example, like, it was about the way he talks to talent. and like Pritchard had to check them. And that's another thing I like about the documentary. It's like they were fact checked like a motherfucker. We're like Stephanie being like, no, the Tyson stuff happened after WrestleMania. Like, no, that was before. It's like, oh, so Pritchard had to check and be like, no, there was a time where Vince talked wild crazy to me. And like Vince talked wild crazy to me. And then Vince, out of his own mouth, was like, sometimes I get a little too passionate and I kind of go across the line, but it's more passionate. And it's like, so the shit, and it happened that this document came out at the same time. Mercedes did an interview with Breakfast Club and basically confirmed what we already knew, which was like Vince and Pritchard and them said some wild shit to her and Naomi, which led to that walkout. But now Vince's own mouth through this documentary confirmed like, oh, so you do be saying some wild shit to your talent that they kind of gotta just take it because you're the boss. Thank you for confirming what we kind of already knew. But then that's the thing where it's like you hear Vince say certain things where it's like, wait, say that again? Because I know I just heard that right, but are you talking about sexual abuse when you were a kid? Like you're saying incest? I'm not saying that's what happened to you when you were a kid, but to run that back, and it's like it's almost like you're snitching on yourself. And Vince was doing enough of that where it's like, oh shit.
Because people
I think he just said what I think he just said. And it's like I'd be forgetting, and I gotta get reminded of like him and Trump are literally the exact same person. They look at things the exact same way. They act the same way. There's a level of narcissism. There's a level of I'm kind of, secluded from a lot of these things. I don't really pay attention, or like my way always works type of thing where it's like, yeah, Vince does the same shit this one does.
Right.
And that documentary reminded me of like,
yeah, it's you muted, babe. But
I was saying it's just a confirmation of stuff we kind of already knew. Like, especially the weirdest thing I thought was the whole father figure thing. I'm like, okay, y'all sequence that, but then I remember the interview with two people. I remember the interview with MVP, the first one, and he was like, yeah, yo, he's like, it's like having almost like a father figure, and I'm like, yo, okay. And then it was the one where CM Punk was like, he tried to call me son and all this stuff, but he was like, I have a dad, I don't need you to son me. And I was just like, every single person was like, he's like a father figure, he's like a father figure. I'm like, yeah, because you work for him. Like all companies are like that. Like I think it's the weirdest thing when you have a manager that tries to teach you like, hey, like let me take you under my wing, you be my kid. Like, no, bro, I have parents. Like, what are we doing?
But I think with Vince is different because like his opinion is what shapes your career. And there's probably no other company where that's even a thing. Yeah. Where one person's yes or no, like we just talked about how he ended a fucking 20-year streak the day of, like, so that person, that like constant like need for his approval, like, and you marry that with the intimacy of the wrestling business, like you're traveling with these guys constantly, and he pays you, he takes, there's people that'll be like, thanks Vince for taking care of my family, and that's just him, like he gave you a job. That's like calm down, like it's why, so like that dynamic is so like almost every wrestler that have worked for Vince, even if they hate him, they say he was like, even Brett says Vince was like a father figure to me. Like it's very knocked his ass out. He loves telling that story. He loves telling that story. You know what was interesting to me too about the Vince doc and was how there were things that he didn't remember. Yeah, and that's because he's been doing this for so long, and he's had so many interactions with so much talent over the years that we probably don't even know of. We just hear stories, and
he's definitely said like, "I don't look backwards; I look forward." Like, if there's any trauma, put that shit in a box, throw it away, and move forward. Like, fuck all that.
Yeah. So I thought that was.
But I just you think about it, like every week we do a show, right? Or in certain cases, you may not remember what you talked about a few weeks ago. But then you might have like a super fan who was like, oh yeah, but on this day you said such and such. And I remember like Mark Henry saying that about coming across super fans, and they all 1,000% coming across super fan, and they can remind them the exact moment in city when they had a certain match. So like, of course, we remember the stuff. We're consumers, but some of the stuff I'm like, all right, I can see him not remember that. The Sable stuff was like, you don't remember. Dude,
Somebody's
like,
suing you for sexual harassment.
yes.
I think he either didn't remember the lawsuit or he didn't remember what he was making her do when she
Yeah.
came back. I think that's what it was. And again, that's very convenient because
Mhm.
also, Sable, you made yourself. That's a whole nother.
Oh
So
yeah,
It's
yo, I
convenient
saw
how
that and I was like, I rolled my eyes. I was like, girl, you came back.
you look like a clown. Like you sued for
yeah,
sexual harassment and then you came back and did worse things than
I was
I
you.
rolled
so
my eyes. I was
disappointed.
but
like,
him
Shut
having
up.
selective memory is interesting because that same documentary with the producers acting like, yo, what makes you happy? And out of his own mouth, I don't know, something something sexual. And it's like, did you just say that in your
And they
old and
opened
bison
up
age that you was like you're like 80, you still fucking think about sex like you
The
fucking horn
genetic
dog?
jackhammer. That was his. That
It
was.
was. I
that
forgot
was
about that.
it
Totally
was. You're
forgot
right.
about that.
I almost said cut, but you're right. You definitely.
Yep.
So that's the part that got me because like the most fascinating thing I feel like to me was like his wife, right?
Mhm.
She did, and I learned a lot about that. Like obviously, it's very obvious she didn't want part of the camera, but she understood it's a family business. I'm gonna do what it do, and then like I always wondered, like, all this stuff that came out, like, what's your relationship with your wife? Does she know what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. She just take it. And then I remember the interview he had where he said when he cheated on his wife, what it felt like. And I was just like, dang, like, I could see, like, and then from that opening, it's just like, I can see why you don't like interviews because you don't want to open up a can of worms to yourself also, but you have to understand you're a business owner. Like you don't want to open up yourself to a can of worms because at the same time I could tell he still wants to be himself, but he also has to keep in mind, bro, I got to protect this 1,000 to million to $1 billion investment that I made in a company, and anything that I do, if I don't make the right steps, is going to harm me. So to say that he's like a lot of people were saying, okay, what he did was like every rich person in America. Fine, we get that. In the age of everybody who's getting accused, from the dealer to who that and the third, we get it. But at the same time, if you watch the documentary, interview after interview, he had to go to trial for steroids. He got confronted about steroid use on interview shows. He got bombarded with it again when it came to Benoit stuff. Like he does not like to talk about himself. And this was like I said, I feel like production tricked him, going back to that, because we weren't supposed to get I don't think we were ever supposed to get a Mr. McMahon hit piece. I think we were supposed to understand the history of WWE through his eyes and talk about WWE. And then when all this shit started coming out, they're like, we also need the money,
how do
and
we
they're
not
coming
talk about
because,
this?
and then no, but that's what it looked like to me. I had to sympathize with Bruce Pritchard because I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right, he's done horrible things, really horrible things, but at the same time, we don't work with him, so we don't know him. Like, and Black Wrestler said it too. If he had been a typical guy if the NDAs had been written the right way, because that's how I pointed, we might have even never known all that stuff that was happening because
he stopped paying the Hart family when he bought Stampede. That's what he does.
When the company got sold, their finances got exposed, and that's when he had to change behavior, and then that's when everything just kind of spiraled out of control. Because then, even before the ugly lawsuit, he got exposed for like giving funds to people over the years and shit like that. So
yeah, and that was all to prepare for the sale. But it was just like, to me, we still don't like, and I say this, there's people that only know him from the news of everything that he did, and then there's people like Bruce Pritchard. He's like, I don't know a lot of companies that's paying for rehab for wrestlers who don't even fucking work there. One, that's a part of his charitable work. I don't know a lot of companies that are going to pay for your kids or your cancers, your wife's cancer treatments. I don't know a lot of bosses that do that at all. I don't know a lot of people who will ride you to the WrestleMania after you had a concussion, after you changed the finish of their match. We don't know that.
Be true.
But you have people now. You have people now on the outside of wrestling who watch this documentary and they're like, okay, now we get why sports entertainment is big. Great. What did Vince McMahon do to get his hand stuck in between that lawsuit like he did? That's all the focus was on. And I felt like that's what they were pivoting. They kept bringing it up. The first 5 minutes of every single episode was a disclaimer that he was getting sued. And this was before he got sued. Okay, I care. Like, I want to know how he got his business. I got that answer. But then you're still zeroing on, you're basically trying to zero on the fact, is he a sociopath? That's what I felt like. Is Vince McMahon a sociopath?
Mm-hmm.
That's
but
what
if
I
you're
felt like.
talking about Vince McMahon, how do you not talk about this shit? Because then if you don't talk about it, you're basically excusing this shit that's happening in real time.
But then don't call it the Mr. McMahon documentary. Call it Mr. McMahon and the build of WWE, or how Mr. McMahon built WWE. Don't call it Mr. McMahon and put puppets on the front of the thing, thinking I'm gonna get
I think the reason they don't
Jeffrey
do that,
Dahmer type documentary.
I think the reason they don't do that with like Mr. McMahon and WWE, because why would you attach WWE specifically to these lawsuits when it's Vince?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, absolutely do not put us with this shit.
It's his story.
But
because optics matter, because it is like, if it's Mr. McMahon and WWE, then it's WWE getting sued on top of it. It's like, no, we ain't getting sued. That motherfucker doing this wild, crazy NDA shit. We ain't doing none of this shit.
Then don't give me a documentary where 85% of the content is about before, then, now, forever with WWE. Don't give me that. Give me minimal of that and more on Vince, and like, exactly, like, it was kind of like they were trying, like, okay, let's wipe the squeaky clean of WWE because they're about to come here, but let's talk about the devious man that built the company as a mastermind sociopath in the first place. Don't do that psychology bullshit with me, because as a fan, I'm easily irritated. But everybody who's ignorant, if I say, oh, I like wrestling, they're like, oh, how can you support him with that? Okay, now you did your work, because that's what's been happening. That's what's gonna keep happening until they put Vince McMahon on the back burner for a long, long time, especially with this Netflix stuff coming up.
They've done a good job with that, I think, with kind of, because after the Netflix dropped, it was a week or so, everybody was talking about it, and I was kind of just like, all right, well,
now it's just like, all right, well, he's not in WWE no more, so let's keep going
on to the next scandal.
Right.
But so
I don't see color.
Oh gosh, so that was
about
interesting.
that.
Yeah. Let's segue into
about that, because when we talked about it on the buckle, and when I say Twitter was in a fucking uproar Saturday night, I have never seen this level of toxicity on social media over one goddamn sentence. Because man, some of these takes that were flying, I was seeing respectable people, content creators that we fuck with. It was almost like they gotta defend this shit, because it was just like these takes were just like, y'all were pissed, but it was like not concerted, like concise, like pissed off. Like everyone's just pissed about just everything, and they just unleashed Saturday night. We're just like, I'm just gonna log off for about 12 hours. This is
people that were that he said that. Then you had people that were pissed that people were pissed that he said that, because we shouldn't be surprised he said that. It was just like a mess. I just, you would think.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Two things popped in my head. Like, I said the thing I said about Carmelo Hayes, because, like, not for nothing, if you watch people that watch SmackDown, they look forward to that shit. Like, that kid's not sitting there drawing out bingo. He's sitting there putting on a top-notch performance because he's obviously grabbing it. It's and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like the same thing that happened with the brass ring comment that Vince made when he was on Stone Cold's podcast. And you had all that talent putting in it, like Cesaro.
That was the main one, Cesaro. People was mad about that one.
Dolph was putting on bangers. Like, Rusev had just gotten there and had just beat John Cena. And then he went on Stone Cold's podcast and goes, oh, they're not like you or like The Rock or like John. They're not reached for brass rings, but they draw ratings to your show and kids are buying these shirts. So what kind of brass ring are you reaching for? He pissed everybody off. That's what I felt like he did. Because it's like, at the same time, it's like, so he's just doing what? He's just trying to get like a full circle on his Apple Watch? No, he's trying to get on a PLE. He's trying to be a US champion. And at the same time, like, people have been telling us about that point of view for him, because they've worked with him for months. And we weren't really listening, but it took like for him to say it in front of a room of credible reporters and on a YouTube channel for you to finally be like, oh, yeah, you're not beating them allegations. It worries me, because you have a roster in NXT where if you look at the graph and you look at your championship graph, I don't see why you would think it's appropriate for you to say, I don't see that. Because no matter how you slice and dice, it doesn't matter if you see it, everybody sees it. And then nobody would, if nobody saw that, they would have never made the comments about the concerns about the lack of Black representation if they did not see it. So how can you sit there and really say you don't see something that everybody sees? Does it mean you're not listening? Is it means you're trying to avoid the issue? Like, where did that comment come from? Because I really don't think you get what it means. And I think I said it. I think somebody needs to sit down and explain it to him.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things too.
And then on top of that, it wasn't the first time he said it, because he said it about women.
Right.
He said it when he said it about women.
But
this time he just straight up said color.
It's true. And it's like, and I talked about this on social, there's no right way to answer that question. And somebody does need to sit with Triple H and just, because the more press conferences, people are going to ask you these type of questions, and you're going to have to answer to a very loud community, because you can't 1 minute say you don't see color, but then brag about how because he bragged about two Black women main eventing WrestleMania when Bianca and Sasha did it. So you leaned into it then. So you can't choose when you see color. Cause let's be real, Atlanta, you made that shit blackity black, blackity black, black.
Except for the card.
So
and as much as you brag about Bianca and Sasha main eventing WrestleMania, guess what? Women have not main evented any PLE since.
And they're talking about it has to be a story. Okay, good. I understand that. Why aren't we building stories for the people that you praise that are air top? Like, I understand you can't have Bianca and Jade have a match every pay-per-view. We're not asking for that. We're not begging for that. But it's looking kind of sketch when you say you need stories and all of a sudden you don't have nothing for them. You have nothing.
Right.
Like nothing. Andrade and Carmelo couldn't have a match at Bad Blood. I find that very hard to believe.
That's the unexplainable. Like, you can't excuse that.
So hard to believe.
You need something for the go home shows. I mean, the go home shows. Because the thing is, they're trying to make every WWE show must see. They want to continue that sold out streak. I think they said it's the 60th or something sold out show 2024. They're on a streak of sold out shows. So you got to put bangers on every single show, not just the PLEs these days. But I do wish Melo got that opportunity, but then it's going to make his next one on a big pay-per-view even more.
But then we don't know. But now we don't know when he's going to get one. Like, how long is this going to go?
Right.
And if you're to brew a story, great. You're gonna have Andrade. Like, what kind of story are you brewing with him and Andrade that they had? And I get it, because in the age of fair, if you look at wrestling, the best wrestling that has happened has always been best out of. I remember my favorite one. Remember Kevin Owens and El Jericho, aka Sami Zayn, had it in Ring of Honor. CM Punk and Chris Heroes had it when they were back in indie wrestling. Like, Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair have wrestled each other 2005 times. I counted. I checked the record. I get it. But I think for him, a lot of people were looking at it as like, you had two guys who main evented an NXT PLE who you said were future WrestleMania main eventers, and you're giving one that's more attention than the other one. I think that's where that's came to play. I get all this stuff, and I'm be really honest with it. I'm breaking fourth wall. If somebody hadn't gotten on the Breakfast Club and said something, the whole conversation never started to begin with. How people feel about Swerve, it was definitely him that put the match in was spot, and the Mercedes Moné signaled it, but didn't signal it, but actually brought it up the same way without trying to throw people under the bus. And that's what really sparked this whole entire thing. And people look at the PLEs and they're like, wait a minute. Now that I look at it, it's looking kind of crazy. So I just think that you got it. The only way you're going to be able to give an answer is either prove people wrong or start building stories now, because I don't want another Street Profits versus the Final Judgment, even though that match was really cool. I like that match, but I don't want that type of just throw it all together type bullshit again. Give me something with story. That's all I need to
do. They can definitely do better. For sure. And it's important. Representation is important. You cannot say as a powerful white man that you don't see color. Like, you just can't. Like, you cannot say that. You know, you have an extreme amount of privilege.
Not only running the company, you're also running creative. So you are the person in charge of these stories that are getting told on TV.
And
so
that's what I said. Like, why not give them a story? You have you did it in NXT. What's wrong with doing it here?
Right. And Shawn Michaels is doing, I don't know who put it in the comments, but Shawn Michaels is doing a great job of having a lot of representation on the show.
Like, you've done it before, you could do it again, so do it again. That's where my point of view is. I've heard that comment, and then some. I'm somebody who works in corporate America. I've heard that comment on more reviews and more outlooks and more stuff trying to get promoted than I can stand. At the end of the day, what I've learned to combat that with is I back it up by saying I have this, and this. So if you keep telling me that you don't see it, but you're not doing the work that needs to be done by me when I'm doing the work that needs to be done by you to get to a certain level, I'm gonna start thinking you're lying to me, and that's a convenient answer for you. And I'm gonna make you understand that, hey, you can't say this to me because the perspective is you may say that you don't, but in my eyes you do. So until you prove otherwise, let me break it down for you. And I think that's what it takes. Somebody's gonna have to break it down to him.
Yeah, he needs someone to sit with him
and be like, to have some weekly vodka drinks.
Somebody of color.
He needs someone to sit down with him and be like, bro, as long as you're going to be doing these pressers that
you can't say
we're allowed to go to, there are going to be people that are going to hold your feet to the fire and ask you some real questions like this. And forget, are these the WWE Universe? They pay attention to everything. I didn't even realize it's been like at least 3 PLEs. And I was like, yeah, people pay attention to this shit the same way. Like, I was on here hyping up Damian Priest and Bayley's title reigns because, like, as a Latino, we don't get a lot of these, especially like Damian Priest holding the top title. We really do not get a lot of these, except for like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Alberto Del Rio. It doesn't happen for us a lot.
And their character not be about their race too.
Yeah, this is the first where it's like he's genuinely something different without having to really lean into the Latino part or like a stereotypical part. And it's like, you guys put it perfect. It was like he didn't answer it right, but I also didn't like the Discord that followed because then it became almost like a race war on social media where it's like there was no way he could have answered that right.
Bingo.
Right. It's just no way.
It's murky water.
All he could have really said was, we hear you. I will try to do better. And that's really all you can ask for.
Period. That's the only way.
And even then, you're also gonna be pissed off at that because it'll be like, that's not an answer.
But then, just the last note, when he answered the women one, he didn't answer it properly. But then over time, you saw a change. So, like I said, the only way that I'm gonna understand that he finally gets it is when I see a change. That's it. And then it's sad because a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, you're still watching it anyway," and blah blah. Okay, great. Yeah, I am still watching it because I believe that people learn from the stupid shit that they say, the stupid shit that they do. And they either evolve from it, or they vegetate. And then when they start their money, because let's be real, your whole pay-per-view is black, and only 80% of your fan base is black. Let's be real. The people are pissed that you don't have another country song as a theme song. You're gonna have to change with the times, brother. Ain't no way, shape,
right. And wrestling has to be one of the most racist businesses like ever. Like if you go back, almost every character was based on their fucking race. Even now, all the black people are lumped together. So you can't sit here and say you don't see color. Like it's just a dumb thing to say.
Yeah,
I think for him, he's learning how difficult the top seed is in real time because, like, it's like, why don't you do what worked in NXT? Because he doesn't have the luxury of. At some point, NXT, those people were getting called up to the main roster, and now he has new toys to play with. Now you have this entire covey of toys that you have to play with, and you're paying a lot of these people millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars, so they got to get on TV. You got Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs, and now you have to figure this out in real time. It's like, yeah, you just can't move them up to the main roster. You're here. Now you got an entire women's division you got to make work. Now you have an entire main event card where you have Roman and Cody and Rock and Seth and all this shit. Then now you have an entire tag team division you've been neglecting for a long ass time that people have been telling you do better with. On top of all these titles, and then you love having these pay-per-views lean and clean with like 5 matches. That's not going to always cut it.
Right.
It's like you're going to have to make some adjustments. I'm not saying do what Vince did, which is cool. I'm going to have 9 matches on the card. It's going to be 4 hours so we can get everyone on the card so y'all can stop complaining about that. But there's got to be like a flex and balance. I think he's figuring out in real time, like, this shit is not easy because regardless of what I do, I plug this hole, people piss off here. I plug this all. People piss off now over here.
That's the biggest focus group.
You learn that in the doc too. You learn that in the doc too, because when they talked about the errors, think of how they talked about it. They were like, when they introduced like the Attitude Era was literally, it was, and I always say the Attitude Era was because of WCW, period. Right? You had a lot of people that weren't happy with the Attitude Era, the stuff they were doing to women, the stuff they had on the shows. People were pissed about that, but they were draws. Then you had when everything started going on with the steroid trials and all the accusation with Chris and all that stuff. They had to change. They realized CTE is a huge deal. They took chair shots away. Undertaker said straight up he was mad. He said he was pissed. But they had to change with the times. They had to go PG. Fans weren't happy with that, but they found the media in that. They had Ruthless Aggression. They had John Cena. They found a lot of stuff. Things are going to change over time, and people are always going to be pissed. But guess what? People are going to be what? Spending that chingle changle.
WWE is going to keep exactly, and they're doing the best now than they've probably ever done on a consistent basis as far as revenue coming in.
First year of the Triple H era, so we just gotta watch and see.
Yeah, exactly. It's an exciting time. So one thing that I think WWE's been leaning on a lot lately, and I am so here for it, is the amount of celebrities that are getting involved. So y'all saw Sexyy Red was on Monday Night Raw. She was also on NXT. What are your thoughts on, Sexyy Red is not my demographic. Like, I'm not her demographic. I am not in that wave. I'm very confused by it, to be very honest with you guys. But how do you guys feel about them tapping into Sexyy Red? Not just once, not just twice, but 3 times.
I mean, they're running an era back where, remember when hip hop was very heavy in WWF? They're just bringing it back to WWE time, in my opinion.
I'm cool with it because at least they're keeping current with like what's going on in pop culture today, which is something that Vince lost touch of over time, because obviously when you become that powerful and that busy, you're going to be a little insulated on what's going on with the culture and whatnot. So at least when you see like Meg The Stallion being the theme song to SmackDown, when you see them get Cardi B for SummerSlam, when you see them get Sexyy Red, she's not our demographic, but for the kids, like a Sexyy Red, a Lotto, Little Baby, Dub Baby, A Baby, a Tribe Name Baby, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's for y'all, but at least it's bringing Little Uzi Vert. It's like, at least you're staying current with like, all right, we're bringing people that people know now versus like, fuck it, we're going to put Kid Rock on. It's like, who the hell's been checking for Kid Rock? Ain't no woman trying to look for that shit except maybe Vince McMahon, because, he still has fucking 8 tracks in there and doesn't have like an actual like iPod or some shit like that. But at least with these celebrity appearances, they're current. They're people that make sense.
And they're people that are
doing, like, Megan do something at Rolling Loud with Bianca. Cardi's always wanted to do something with WWE before the fucking IWC got a hold, and it was like, oh, your favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero? Pop quiz, 20 questions. Name some of the best matches. Oh, you're not a real fan. By the way, IWC stopped doing this shit because the celebrity, especially the celebrity girlies, want to get into wrestling, and y'all do this fuck shit where you gotta do a 20-question pop quiz, and if they don't name Shawn Michaels' 5 best matches, if they don't name, what happened at WrestleMania 12, then all of a sudden they're not good enough, and you go attack them to where you're like, you know what? I don't even want to watch this shit, or I don't want to post about this, and you scare the girls away. Like, stop doing that shit.
When Lily Singh said, when John Cena asked her that, he was like, what do you think about the fans? And she was like, the black is a beautiful thing. I hollered. I was like, yo. I was like, nah, Lily Singh, girl, I feel you on that note. But yeah, and you realize a lot of people that were ringside have also been longtime WWE fans, like Killer Mike. Has been vocal about his
fandom. I didn't know Vanessa Hudgens was wrestling until like WrestleMania 40. Like, what the fuck is she doing ringside?
She's cool with The Rock. She's cool with The Rock. She's cool with The Rock. So that I understood. But Quavo is obviously he's said that he's a big fan of Randy Orton. So of course
and they've been involved before the Migos. They've been involved.
Yeah,
Quavo was definitely.
I was looking up Metro Boomin, and he's been in the past been photographed with like different championship belts. Like, he's a fan. He's worn like wrestling t-shirts. The same with Lil Yachty.
Lil Baby too was at Fanatics Fest.
Yeah, and they love it, and they were in the crowd. His kids had belts, and Like these are people that are huge fans, and Metro Boomin tweeted like living out my childhood dreams. Like this means something to them. They grew up how we grew up. Mm-hmm. So now imagine like you get to be involved and have matches and do all of that. Do you guys think Cardi B is going to be involved? How do you guys think she's going to be involved in SummerSlam? Or do you think she just did the announcement and that's that? Or do you guys see her hosting?
She's hosting.
She's gonna host, and if it's gonna be anything involving wrestlers, it's gonna be Bianca.
Yeah,
Bianca and JD. Yeah, because she's. I think she regressed because she was like she has a lot of other things worried about in her life. So arguing with the ICW on Twitter back and forth wasn't it. But listen, y'all know Cardi about the money. A check is a check, and you seen what?
Oh, I can only imagine.
You see the success of what Metro Boomin has been doing. Obviously, her coming to MetLife is one of the most genius marketing things that's ever happened. I know as a New Jerseyan myself, we need that shit because hospitality industry over here is beating. Like, if no one comes here, no one's gonna come over here. Our biggest profit was a Taylor Swift concert and concert. After that, so MetLife needs like a hole in the head. They struggling. So them coming to MetLife, even though I know it's gonna be half New York, half Philly, I'm with it. I don't care. Call it New Jersey, call it New York, New Jersey. I don't care what you do. I'm with it. But I think in the capacity of bringing that draw, that continuous draw for hip hop, you need Cardi. You need Cardi, and you need somebody that's rock. Like invite Bruce Springsteen to a show or something. That'll get some people coming. Like they still love them some Springsteen. Let me tell you, Springsteen people don't play with him. They don't play with him. He's like Jesus over here. Involve him some way. I think
Megan will come. It was just a matter of Megan was on tour this summer.
Right. You're gonna have a lot of other people involved. You'd be surprised. Like me seeing Drewski was in the bingo cards. Me seeing like I said, I didn't expect to see Vanessa Hudgens either. I knew Lee Singh was gonna be there because she's been a fan.
And Vanessa Hudgens is a lifelong wrestling fan. Like she loves it. She was tweeting about the Dominic and Rhea storyline. She was like, "Oh my god, this is something like this is my favorite thing right now," or something. So I was like, "Oh, you a fan? Like you like us on Monday nights at 8:00. You with us watching that shit." Which is
like, don't be surprised Megan pulls up to Vegas for Mania.
And the thing too, God, I think like with wrestling fans is like if the things that we want to happen don't happen right now, it's like, oh, WWE's dropping the ball, and it's like, give it time, give it fucking time. Let it cook. Megan has all the time in the world to come to WWE. We love to see it, but that doesn't mean that WWE doing something wrong. Like I think now they're spacing things out a little bit more because they're so red hot. Like Meg could be next year's big attraction. You know,
that announcement was perfect because the minute you saw Cardi B with a cell phone, you got two answers: either it's happening in New York or it's happening somewhere within the 3 states. And Philly's already out. New York, we never know what's gonna happen. So obviously Jersey's smack in the middle. The minute I saw her nails, I was like, oh, if this is an announcement for a PLE in Jersey, I'm flipping out. And then when I saw when she said MetLife, I fell out the bed. I was like, what?
Okay, so let's get into that. Because
I'm 20 minutes away.
I love that for you, babe. I really love that for you.
Sleep over
how do
my
you
house.
guys feel about 2 stadium shows for SummerSlam? Am I the only one that thinks that should just be for Mania to keep it special? How do we feel about it?
I don't like it because
I don't know how I feel about it.
Shows is wow. It's exhausting. It's gonna cost like a lot. As a fan, oh my goodness, like, and I'm not trying to sound like a privileged person, but think about it. You go to one, and I remember feeling this way in Dallas, like, yeah, hyped up, night one, whatever. Wait, we gotta do that again tomorrow? Now, obviously, I had fun, but I think the best part about like WrestleMania trips used to be, and with like SummerSlam trips, was building the whole week to that one day. So thinking about it, like a Saturday SummerSlam and a Sunday SummerSlam. Nah, and then I feel for like I remember in Nashville afterwards, talking with Corey Graves and how happy he was. He's like, dude, we got tomorrow off. If I had to, I wouldn't even be out here at the bar. I would be up in my room talking to my wife on the phone, get ready to go to bed. He said, because I would have to get up and go to the next town. He said, but I better be on a Saturday, it's that break. So yeah.
On top of it's not just 2 nights SummerSlam. You also have most likely you probably have a go home show for SmackDown. You most likely may have a Raw after SummerSlam. So it's 4 nights. So it's almost like mini where you're paying for like damn. So this basically gotta be like a 5-day trip. And then for the talent,
right,
go for like 4 straight days. For guys like Brian who have to do multiple content on multiple platforms, say with UP, is like, damn, do I even get a time to even breathe? Because I gotta do this shit and that shit. I gotta do a presser. I gotta do charity event. And
it's
you know,
a
New
lot,
York is
and
not the easiest to
jam
maneuver
pack
around.
it. And MetLife is not even in New York, and that's the crazy part.
It's at New Jersey. So
a 2-night show.
I'm so proud of that.
So
I love
a 2-night
that.
show, I have to warm up to. Yeah, like a 2-night show, I got to warm up to. Just I'm so conditioned with one night SummerSlam. I'm okay with Mania because Mania is like the show of shows. But to do this again for SummerSlam is like, bro, our pockets are already hurting because all these fucking tickets are going up, especially for PLEs and especially for Manias. These things are like not cheap. And now you're split. Okay, 2 nights SummerSlam. That ain't gonna be cheap either. New York is not cheap to travel to.
It's New Jersey. But my thing is, like, the only way I see it working logistically is because when I'm looking at the time period, their agreement, which is with the New York, New Jersey Commissioner's Office, is that you can't run, I guess, any other wrestling promotion against WWE within the 6-month period. They can chokehold Newark. They can keep Madison Square Garden. They love them some Madison Square Garden, child. They ain't never gonna avoid Madison Square Garden. And they have Barclays, which is like the regular home. The only way it happening is run those shows that way. Run Raw and Barclays. If you go to NXT, that'd be the perfect time to do a one and done. Bring an NXT TV show to either Newark or Brooklyn. Call it that.
And NXT has been at takeovers have been at Barclay before, so I think NXT could definitely do that shit.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, I will die. That was torture. Like that was just remnant. Like bring NXT to Newark that Tuesday, call it a day. Do that and then do Raw and Barclays and Madison Square Garden and go home. That's the only way I see working, because if you do that and you take Raw to Philly, you're exhausting everybody. That night travel to bring everybody to Raw.
Hold on a sec. So Brooklyn might not be on the table because that's during summer. Summer is because Liberty play at Brooklyn, so they're gonna have to coordinate that with WWA to make sure the Liberty are either not at home or like Brooklyn's free for that. Just because they're the only one. Cause like MSG, Knicks are on summer vacay, Rangers are on summer vacay. MSG is pretty much wide open except for like concerts. But Brooklyn, that's during the Liberty season.
Yeah,
they have a better chance. It's either they run
and then Newark Prudential should be right open because Devils are on vacay too.
Yeah, and they run there too a lot.
They run there. They haven't run there a while. The last SmackDown show I think was a year ago.
Oh wow.
When no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the other company. My bad. Because
so
it's full gear there, so they have time.
Right. So this comment. So where are you from, Mungazia? I hope I pronounced your name right, because they said as an international fan, the 2-day shows between everything that's happening, it's a lot with the time zones. And I was like, I didn't even think about that, because like imagine, I think you have to be up late at night or really, 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 really early in the morning, however you want to say it, and then again the next day, and then again the next day.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, he said that shit. That shit is
because you're asking. So think about it. People have already put their full investment into WrestleMania weekend. Vegas is already expensive as shit. Like that shit, child. That shit is expensive. No, not even that. Like we talking about, you can't even stay on the strip. We talking about you got to go to Fremont Street and take an Uber back and forth across town. That's like going from the Bronx to Newark. And please get on the bridge with me. That shit. That shit.
What part of the Bronx though? Are we talking by P, or are we talking by where I grew up at all the way?
Talking about where you grew up at.
Oh, that Eastchester. Oh, yeah, that's a hike.
Oh,
that's a hike.
Long
you
way.
talking about the travel?
You talking north Bronx?
The travel is taxing, and so they're preparing that 4.
Oh,
He's from
wow.
South.
This is oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well, welcome from South Africa. That's so dope.
Hey.
So
I
Mongezi
love
would
it.
definitely need that would have to be a 5-day weekend for you because you're gonna need a day just to let your body get used to the time difference.
Right.
So he's here almost 8 days. Because
Or even at home. Or even watching it at home. If you like us and want to watch it, like you gotta like really adjust your whole life around that.
Yeah, it's a lot of traveling back and forth. So the only way I see it, if they keep it strictly at it being SummerSlam and then the Raws here and there, and like I said, throw an NXT in Newark somehow, I could see that working out. But if you're trying to give us like WrestleMania weekend where I gotta go back and like if I can't go within the vicinity.
Okay, Cal. It is.
My brother Cal. Shout out to Cal in the chat. But yeah, it's a lot. I don't want it to be like it was WrestleMania where they were back and forth at Barclays. And it was just a lot of back and forth.
It's going to be an annual thing.
What?
Do you think 2 nights SummerSlam is going to be an annual thing?
Yeah.
I feel like it was done because I felt like it was a compromise to Minnesota.
Yeah.
And because like, look, we ain't bringing in WrestleMania Day, bro. It's too cold. Even though we move WrestleMania back, and even though y'all got a dome, we still got to travel. So we'll give you SummerSlam, but we'll give it to you next year. And we got to make New York first. So
yeah.
I think they're gonna try this out, and if it really gets a bad reception, they'll go back to one night.
Yeah, they're good with adjusting like that.
Yeah, like I think with WrestleMania, the success of 38 was like, okay, we're forever gonna stay 2 nights with Mania, which makes sense.
It does.
But for 2 nights SummerSlam, it's gonna be like, this
and it's not that long after Mania. That's why I'm like, how are you guys gonna build
and then
this
here's the other thing
that
they're not considering. We're talking about SummerSlam. We're talking about fucking end of July, August, where it's summer out here outside. That shit gonna be 80, 90 at least.
It's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot. And you're gonna do that 2 days.
For some reason, MetLife is always hot. That sun be blazing.
Yo.
Oh my god, this is gonna.
I will never forget.
I'm gonna have my fan like.
I will never forget.
That's why I don't be sending the 400 to MetLife. Like, nope, I need lower bowls. I'm spoiled. No,
I remember leaving Coldplay's concert. My makeup was nowhere to be seen, child. It wasn't enough setting spray in the world to save the glam that I had did for that show. Hot.
Your makeup said clocks. It's my time to go.
Dove better have its own. Dove better have its own truck. I know that. Dove better be on site. I want it popped right near the Verizon entryway. Cause cow.
I'm surprised they never had anything like that.
Dew Wipes better be sponsoring this event. I'm just saying. Dew Wipes better be on site again.
I'm hyped for that. All right, one last thing. Does the 2-day PLE end with SummerSlam? Oh, nah.
You are never getting a 2-night Rumble. You are never getting a 2-night Survivor Series.
Can we just not? I think it should just be WrestleMania.
Abort.
Abort.
Don't
give the ICW no go back to one night and make people earn their spots.
No, I agree too though.
I feel like women are more likely to main event if there's 2 nights, unfortunately.
Good point. Because Tiffany Stratton is also definitely main event in SummerSlam night 1 next year. I penciled that in. She's from Minnesota.
Oh, okay. This is a good point.
All right, thumbs up for her. Put that in the atmosphere, and hopefully it comes through. Because right now we're 3 years and counting since the last main event.
So yeah, I like this. I like this idea, but also a lot of the cards on like the specialty pay-per-view card like matches be a little whack.
Here's the problem with a 2-night Rumble, because you have all your talent in the Rumble matches. So you're going to ask a lot of them to pull double duty. So like you did in 2018, for example, where like that was one night, but you had like Seth wrestle a tag match and then be in the men's Rumble. Or you had AJ wrestle a 2-on-1 with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and then one of them had to be in the Rumble. So you're asking someone to be double duty for both nights, especially with the women. So that's where the Rumble doesn't work. Because it's like they're already in the Rumble match. So it's like, either you're going to have a lot of NXT people, or Bailey, you're doing double duty. Nia, you're doing double duty. Seth, you're doing double duty. Punk, you're doing double duty. Like, it's a lot of chance for like someone's going to get injured that way.
Yes. So I think we did a pretty good job of recapping a lot of what's been happening in this wonderful world of wrestling. It's a hot time, and I love. It was a what?
Then this was a hot show.
It was. It felt very good to be reunited with the crew and chat some wrestling. Shout out to Black Wrestling. And we noticed it's Cal from the Jersey Love, but shout out to the fam over there.
Shout out
and
to our brother Sal.
Worldwide.
Yay. Wait, wrong gimmick. Wrong gimmick. Ice Cube don't come for me.
Right.
Ice Cube don't come me. Thank you so much. What's up? Oh, O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah, something else.
On something else.
See, I had to lay that up. I had to throw the knuckleball for Brian. He just hit that out of the park.
He got that. He hit
hopefully
that.
Aaron Judge do one.
Shout out to O'Shea, man. Made me think. Once again, remind me why Precious, that movie.
Yo.
Oh my God, I was not expecting that rant.
I laughed and then Justin's tweet when I like, why would you want to go see that movie?
It was like, who volunteers? Like, yes. So babe, check it. There's trauma, there's AIDS, there's Mariah Carey, and there's just black dissension. Movie night. You get the babysitter. We get some wine, some prosecco, and go watch this. 2 hours.
Bro. I feel seen. Oh, that's too funny. Oh man,
it's good to be back. I haven't bowed out and laughed in a long time. That's how you know for sure.
I needed that laugh. So just to answer this question, I know it's been a while since we were back weekly. I don't know if we'll be doing the show weekly, but we will definitely be back very, 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 very soon, and hopefully on a more consistent basis. I did like being able to talk everything that's happening in wrestling right now. I don't know about you guys, but I think that was fun. Maybe also because we got to catch up and talk about these things because we haven't been able to kiki about a lot of this stuff. But let us know, those VIP members in the fan club that come every week. Do you want us to talk about more current wrestling topics? Do you want us to go back to the format of evergreen different topics for every show? We would love to hear your feedback on that one. And if you are new to TWG Fan Club, this is our wrestling fan club for the Those Wrestling Girls podcast network, and we really just get together and kiki with each other, and we welcome other wrestling fans in the club to also chat wrestling with us. So welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and my wonderful crew are going to do their outro, so you can also keep up with them, because we are all currently booked and busy and just have a lot going on, and we really appreciate all the support that you guys have been showing us. And this was a phenomenal I'm gonna call it a reunion show, just because even though it's been a month, that's still too long, and it feels good to be back. Where can everyone find my crew?
Well, you can find me on all social media platforms at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here when we're doing shows live on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch channel, TWG Fan Club, myself, these three beautiful, amazing, intelligent co-hosts of mine. You can catch me live Tuesday nights, Twitter Spaces on Black Wrestling's handle. For the Buckle, myself, Mimi, and Corey, where we talk all things wrestling. You can catch me from time to time on True Hill Heat Sports and True Hill Heat Wrestling, Buffalo's channels located on YouTube, where we talk sports, wrestling, all that fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active. Mongezi, shout out to you, man. South Africa.
Right. We love you, bruh.
All right, you can find me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms. Tonight, the Wrestling Around Now podcast, 10:30 approximately p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna be discussing whose side is The Rock on, Cody or Roman's. So that'll be interesting. But also make sure you check out Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. I talked about a lot of stuff. I even, gave my dissertation on Triple H's comments, but outside of the wrestling world, a lot of WNBA talk, a little bit about the VP and Diddy's mother speaking. So there's that. But Yeah. Check out yesterday's episode of Ring of Wrestling Worldwide with my bro Cal and Ben and David Shoemaker. We went back and watched Sasha and Bailey NXT Takeover Respect, the match that was the Iron Man match. So we did a recap of that, and then also talked about a couple other things. So we also talked about The Rock possibly having an airline company. How did that conversation happen? But yeah, so yeah, make sure y'all check that out. And yeah, also that's it. I'm like, what else?
So cute.
And per usual, hi everyone. It's your honorary wrestling girl Seindole, and I miss you all. What's going on? Watch what happens at NXT under construction, because as the landscape of NXT has changed, so have I, and all the topics I want to talk about. But be tuned into Watch What Happens NXT on Instagram, where we still go 5 in 5. The last 2 reveals of the best 5 matches in the last 6 months so far will drop on Thursday. And the last one will finally drop next Tuesday before the new NXT episodes, so be on the check for that. Also, you can check me out on Instagram at reload.relive, and you can check me out, like I said, on Watch What Happens NXT. And when I'm not doing those things, and also speaking my mind on TikTok, you can catch me here with the it's been a while, let me toot my voice, with the 3 best friends that anyone can have. See, I've been practicing singing too. I've been taking vocal lessons. I've been doing solid core. I've been doing a lot of things, but you will catch me here with the 3 best friends that anybody can have here on Wrestling Best Fan Club ever. Only fan club is what I know about. And I don't know, I might be getting back on the commentary table soon, because I had such a great time at Afro Punk that I've been, I got to do my due diligence. I got to do my homework, but I've been penned and asked if I can audition for another promotion to do some commentary talk. I've been keeping it under the wraps, but we still work in progress. But put all in God's hands. I put all in God's face. God will do it. Yes, He can. And prayers for everybody out in Florida. And it was good to be back.
Prayers up for everyone in Florida. Milton is hitting hard. We hope everyone in our community and everyone out there is staying safe. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this week's edition of TWG Fan Club, and we will see you all next week.
Bye.